compared to those at Camp Pendleton in Southern California. I'm Lisa Taylor.
And Hulu is going to... But now that I have kids, I don't want to spend my Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. But thankfully, there's HomeAdvisor. HomeAdvisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. You can read reviews.
What's up, inmates?
Availability, even book appointments online. And what my wife loves most is that HomeAdvisor is completely free to use.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app to get started.
HomeAdvisor. Yeah, buying some pretzel sticks?
Excuse me?
This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless.
Okay.
What if you didn't eat all those pretzel sticks by the end of the month, so this store took them back?
Good luck.
That's how some wireless companies are with your data, but TracFone Wireless gives you unlimited carryover data with active service, so you keep what you pay for. Plans start at $20 a month.
Wow, that's cool.
Sir, are you bothering the customers?
Yeah, hang on. This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
Hi, Lisa Wolf to tell you that the 5-hour Hollywood 360 show and the 30-minute Radio Rarities podcast can be emailed to you every Monday via digital download link that never expires. That's 24 classic radio shows per month, plus the games, celebrity interviews, music trivia, and much more. Listen to Hollywood 360 and Radio Rarities whenever you'd like. Visit Hollywood360radio.com to subscribe. That's Hollywood360radio.com.
Where can you be a star athlete and a math superstar? Where can you prepare for graduate school or your dream job and make friends for the journey? Where can you challenge your mind and inspire your soul? Experience a transforming education at LaGrange College, one of the South's most affordable, highly ranked institutions. Learn more at LaGrange.edu.
Hulu is going to start banning password sharing outside of a household beginning in March. Netflix started doing the same thing last year, and despite fears of losing subscribers, the service has actually seen growth. Former Saturday Night Live comedian Pete Davidson is starring in a TV commercial to air during the Super Bowl. The Staten Island, New York native, when asked by the TV show Extra what he'd do if they put him up on the Jumbotron, said he'd pay homage to hip-hop group Wu-Tang Clan. Davidson stars alongside Kate McKinnon, another SNL alumnus, and Mayo Cat in an ad for Hellman's Mayonnaise. In the TV spot, McKinnon pokes fun at Davidson.
Good morning, everybody. Getting ready to get started. Live on the radio. Let's get ready. Let's get it. Let's go. Keep going. I'm just filling out some stuff on one of my pages, so there you go. Don't worry about it.
To get them to reunite, apparently $80 million are not enough. Billboard is reporting that the band turned down Live Nation's offer that amount to headline up to
Our guest is Sally Toole today.
Slots, a co-founder of the Coachella Festival.
Her family has been on the Family Feud. Where'd everybody go?
This year's event.
Her family's been on the Family Feud. She's an author, blogger, tour guide, and more. We'll talk about some histories and mysteries in the state of Georgia.
Together as a band, though, since their 2002 induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's Entertainment Steve Green, NBC News Radio.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a top expert in medical, health, and life insurance? Look no further than CP Financial. Meet Charmaine Preston, your trusted agent for finding the perfect plan to fit you. She works with multiple companies, ensuring the best option.
True crime news and everything, because it's True Crime Thursday on the RyanORadio Penitentiary. What's up? How you doing? I have a message for you. I like that name. All right, let's get this ready. Whoa, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, folks. Get on up there and stay with us all morning long. We got some news for you. We're going to talk about a Pennsylvania man that killed his father, beheaded him, and showed his head on camera on the YouTube. Now his channel's down. And he also called for actions. He called for violence against the government and everything. So real nut. Also on this day, Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake had that wardrobe malfunction for the Super Bowl. You guys remember that? We'll talk about presidential primaries. We're not going to talk about it. We'll just give some news on it. Next up, Nevada. I just gave you that. There you go. That's all you need to know. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Israel at war. UN heads called UNRWA backbone for Gaza aid and won't appeal for more. We'll talk about true crime. We have a lot of true crime news for you this morning. And and some news for here in Georgia. Yep, the boo flash.
Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show. Every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern, you'll hear plenty of the best sports talk.
And we'll have in between that news and sports updates and Toronto Blue Jays getting a veteran player. Also, suspension for an NBA player, and Tom Brady's in the news. All this is coming up this morning. And Sally Toole joins us from Histories and Mysteries in the final period. That's right. And we thank you guys for joining us. All right, here we go. Got my Maiden shirt on, getting ready to go. Iron Maiden shirt on, ready to go. Got my coffee. You got whatever you got this morning to wake you guys up. Coffee, Red Bull, Monster energy drinks, whatever fancy coffee you like. Moonshine, whatever wakes you up. I don't know.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele.
Woo, everybody. Well. What's up, everybody, ladies and gentlemen? It is the True Crime Thursday edition of your favorite radio show. We're going to put you in lockdown. We got a lot of talk about from a man beheading his father to go to war go against the government to Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, if you remember that. Who am I? I'm RyanORadio Penitentiary host, the one, the only, Ryan O'Neal. And of course, I am the game. 50,000 plus of you worldwide on the Shoutcast, shout it out loud across that RyanORadio media page. Earth Rock Radio, Arizona, New Mexico, and the Navajo Nation. Real radio and internet radio out there. We're across the British Columbia Isles of Canada, and finally, the Jordan Communication, a family radio stations, East Alabama, West Georgia, including right here at 99.1 FM, WQEE the Key, home of Southern sports, inspirational talk, and this show, the RyanORadio Penitentiary. What's up, sports nut inmates and more? You're tuned into RyanORadio Penitentiary, the show that can go. Straight edge, independent skeptic, that's what I am. I tell it like it is. And to my haters, I got this to say to you. Listen up, haters. Oh, man, I am the man around here, whether they like it or not. Good morning, I have a message for you. There you go. And ladies and gentlemen, he's from Australia. Of course, we got a lot of people on, so go ahead, come in, start writing into the feeds and talking with us this morning on the YouTube. We're not only on all them other feeds, we're on YouTube. I'm Ryan O'Neal. If you don't know who I am, nice to meet you. If you do know who I am, well, you know what this show is about, and you know we're the most electrifying show on the radio dial, all over YouTube, all over Facebook, all over the streams, everywhere you need to be. If you smell what the rhino is cooking, that's right. There you go. All right, this hour, we got 3 hours of nonstop play. In the final period, Sally Toole from Histories and Mysteries will join us. She's an author, a blogger, a YouTuber, Family Feud winner, and a traveler, as well as a tour guide. We're going to find out what's going on as we talk about histories and mysteries throughout the state of Georgia and Alabama and down to Florida and around the country. Histories and mysteries coming up for you, and you can check out her site on the YouTube as well. And that's in our final period. It's True Crime Thursday. We always do true crime news. And the top story today is about a Pennsylvania man, ladies and gentlemen, that the 32-year-old man killed his father and beheaded him, got on the YouTube, had a 14-minute rant about how terrible the world is, how terrible the government is, how terrible the United States is. And towards the end of the video, he pulls up ahead. He said he killed his father because his father was a traitor to the country, because his father worked for the federal government as an engineer. You know, made all this money and all these grown people living off their parents. All these grown folks living off their parents. All these grown folks living off their parents. All these privileged people living off their parents. And he kills his father, and he's calling for war against them and everything, and he shows his head. They find him and put him in jail, but we'll talk about that. He's supposed to appear in court on February the 8th. And this is how crazy it's got here in the United States. I mean, other countries, other third world countries is the way it acted. We got people going, I'm afraid that if we don't change the presidents and this, that, and the other, that, guess what? We're going to be a third world country. It's becoming a third world country. How could some idiot do this? We'll talk about him. Plus, we'll talk about a couple other true crime news stories from True Crime Daily this morning. Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake. This was the day back in 2004 that the Super Bowl, do you guys even remember who played that Super Bowl? But you remember the wardrobe malfunction, don't you? Yeah, you do indeed. We'll talk about that this morning. And we'll have more Israel at war updates, things on both sides there, and so much more. So 15 minutes. It is now 15 minutes past the hour. We are holding at 31 degrees. It's cold in the Atlanta area. Time and temperature brought to you by those fantastic folks at Active Pest Control, 34 Jefferson Street, right there in the metro Atlanta area of Noonan. Summer, winter, spring, fall, you and I don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all, but Michael and the crew can lay the smack down and exterminate them for you. All right, let's jump into it. It's our morning devotion brought to you by Noonan City Church, 17 First Avenue, here in the metro Atlanta area of Noonan. February 1st, can you believe we're already into February? 1 month is already done. Yeah. February 1st, today, Noonan City Church, every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. services. Guess what? Also, outside services, weather permitting, under the big tent. We always have a tent revival there, 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. And then 6:30 p.m. for those hip, cool kids. That's right, I'm not hip and cool anymore. But for those hip, cool kids in the evening, it is NCC PM. Yeah, I'm trying to be hip. I don't know, but sorry, Pastor Cedric, I'm not that cool. Pastor Cedric, Ryan, I understand. That's how he speaks. But Pastor Cedric, Pastor Randy, and Pastor Darren, also with head Pastor Jimmy Ellison, inviting you out. Oh, I got to read that from our friend. I have a message for you in just a minute before we get started with our news. But here's our daily devotion from Genesis 28:11-16 and Romans 8:39. Ever-present God, I want the light of your presence to shine on everything I experience. Enable me to see things from your perspective. Help me to stay mindful in you and every situation I encounter. That's right. I need this a little bit more every day, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you that. There's some stuff. Surely the Lord is in this place and I am not aware of it. I am grateful that Jacob's wonderful discovery was not only for him, but for you, me, and everyone. Lord, I ask you to increase my awareness. You are with me no matter where I am or what is happening. Whenever I'm feeling distance from you, my Lord, please remind me that you're in this place. I am so grateful nothing in all creation would ever separate me from your loving presence. Whoa, wait, I love that one. I need that one. I got to get that one in me, just like I got to get some other ones in me. Hallelujah. Yeah. Now, you guys, go ahead and subscribe to the WQEE page on the YouTube page if you are tuning in there as well. Subscribe and follow and keep up with everything that we are doing. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. Don't go down. Now, also, ladies and gentlemen, to our to those of you who want to support the show, just shoot me a little seed. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a seed. Do me a little seed. Give me a $30 seed. I'm just kidding. No. You can throw me a little seed at my Cash App at $RyanShelander. That's $RyanShelander. RyanShelander. That's RyanShelander. Also, you can become a sponsor of the station at WQEE at 770-347-9947. Let's get all that out there. That's some great information. All right, I have a message for you. He says, I have a joke for y'all. All right, here we go. Why is everybody popping off and on? Come on back on. He said, a priest and a hairdresser are driving. They ran over a rabbit, and the priest wants to say a few words, and the hairdresser says, let me take care of this. The hairdresser messes with the rabbit, and the rabbit gets up and runs off, waving at the priest. And the priest asks, how did you do that? The hairdresser replies, he said, how did you do that? And then the hairdresser replies, I have him a permanent wave. That's a good one. I like good jokes. We used to have a guy get in here to give nasty jokes. I want to give nasty jokes and I hate everybody. That was good. Thank you. I have a message from down under in Australia. All right, let's go ahead. You guys continue to join the show this morning. You're like, what? It's time for us to take a look at some of the headlines this morning that are making the headlines. We told you yesterday as Michigan school shooting trial continues, jury hears about an affair. What? We're going to have to dive into that a little bit later on this morning. Fannie Willis subpoenaed in an effort to disqualify her from the Georgia election case. Also, fentanyl state of emergency declared in Portland. Presidential primaries and caucus next up in Nevada for 2024 between Nikki Haley and the former president. 3 killed, 9 injured in an airport hangar collapse that happened in Boise, Iowa. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Toyota stopped shipment of 10 vehicle models over a engine data situation. I got to get into some of these other stories. I got to find out about this affair thing going on here and that Michigan shooting. We talked yesterday about that, about the woman begging to keep her job when her son was the one that did the shooting. Also, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit a couple other newsworthy news this morning. Judge ruling Donald Trump's $370 million New York fraud case could come at any time. Northern Ireland, there's transit. Educational workers walk out over pay in their big 4 unions. Their unions are standing up there. Home swapping grows as cost-saving travel trends with local flavors, guys. These stories and more can be seen on the WQEE page, and you can read them for yourself. All right, keep going up. Stay with us. We got a lot in store for you. 23 minutes past the hour. And on this day, back February 1st, 2004, Janet Jackson, the little sister of Michael Jackson, had her one of those wardrobe malfunctions and something popped out. In an appearance with Justin Timberlake, who reached his hand across there because they were doing a song together and like he was going to, do whatever they were doing. And I guess he accidentally opened up her wardrobe or whatever, and it popped out. Does anybody even remember who played in that game? I don't know. Does anybody even remember who played in that game? I don't. I don't really remember who played in that game. And they don't even tell who played in that game. Oh well. Oh well. All right. Anyway, we're going to take a look at what's going on with your traffic in a moment. Here, also, we'll got our big one coming up. What's going on? Oh, it's I can get to that news story without it freezing up. All right, guys. It is 24 minutes past the hour. We're still at 31 degrees out there in the metro Atlanta area. It's cold. It's a cold one. It's a good one. Yep. If you remember who played in the game the year that Janet Jackson had her wardrobe malfunction, quote in quotations, let me know in the feed, guys. Let me know in the feed. On this day, February 1st, let me know. Hey, don't be dropping out. Don't be dropping out. Let me know. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Some more headline news for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 4 people, including a child, are dead after a tourist boat coming off the coast of Mexico in Cancun. We told you that story yesterday. And Carnival Corporation says it's going to reroute a dozen of its cruise ships away from the Red Sea as the Iran militants keep bombing commercial vessels. Carnival is rerouting 12 ships across 7 brands that's going to have different schedules across the Red Sea through May, and we'll keep you updated on that. So if you're going between now and then, you decide to get on one of these cruises, yep, they're rerouting it because of all the violence that's going on. We told you yesterday that 2 British oil tankers have been hit so far from these Iran militants who are coming back because of the war between Israel and Palestine right now. And America just won't stand with what they want to stand for. America, and currently President Biden says, hey, we're standing with Israel, which we've always had as a country. And I know he's also praying for those people in Palestine, which is what most people in America are. Well, most Christians in America are. Not the ones that think that this PA guy was right to kill his father because he worked for the government. Boy, he worked for the government. He got to be a lizard man. Watch out for them lizard people. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Killingsworth Realty Road Report. Let's hear from Amy Killingsworth and tell us more. You guys keep going up. What's up? What's up? There was a lot of people on this morning. They liked me and then they left. No traffic issues in Newton on Bullsboro as well as Lower Fayetteville Road and Popular Road looking good. Temple Avenue picking up a little bit on Jackson Street, heading towards the school of LaGrange Street, heading down towards Greenville Street to take you down the interstate. Let's head northbound. I-75, Highway 54 northbound in Clayton County. Crash there. Delays out of Monroe till about 7:55 Eastern Standard Time. McDonald, there's a crash near Highway 155 westbound and I-75. Slowing up just a tad bit up till 8:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In Atlanta, some road work going on Spring Street, southbound of Buford Spring connection to 17th Street. Delays all the way through the remainder of the day. Use Peachtree Street or I-75 85 southbound. That's up to about 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also heading down Interstate 85 southbound. No issues in Hogansville as well as Grantville. Good morning, David Clark over there in the city of Grantville. Also heading on down to LaGrange. Commerce picking up a tad bit as well as New Franklin Road in downtown LaGrange. Nothing in East Alabama. West Point looking good as well. You see something else, see, shoot us an email at 99classicrock@gmail.com. Become a WQEE News Hound. Let me know what's going on in the news. News, weather, traffic, events going on, community events, and more. Just like this one coming up this weekend, speed dating at Leaf and Beam. Saturday, February 3rd, 7 to 9 p.m., $20 to get in, including 1 drink. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, at Creative Hearts Studio, moving to a new location in downtown noonan, you can check out some stuff that's going on. Their weekly herd journey classes on site, as well as applying for self-discovery and expression workshops going on. The herd journeys are off-site on Mondays, as well as the Bible studies on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. The Healthy Habits off-sites. Radio show every Tuesday and Thursday for the Connecting Hearts Radio Network right here at 11 a.m. on there. And of course, that's all that's going on. Anna Marie, I'll get that when I come back. I'll tell everybody you gave the answer and everything and told who won. Back in a moment, more on the way. Oh, by the way, here is the Noonan Dance. And Connecting Hearts Network is now at 8 LaGrange Street here in Noonan. Back in a moment. Might have to look that up. I'm glad you remembered it, but I didn't remember it.
Brought to you by Active on 34 Jefferson Street in Noonan. Sunshine to start the day off. A few afternoon clouds, high near 61. Winds light and variable. Overcast skies tonight, low near 37. Light and variable winds.
Wow, there's so much news out here now.
Northwest winds.
Good, I can drop some of my stuff I didn't need.
Friday night into the weekend, clear skies, low near 40. Winds are light and variable. Your Saturday outlook, 63, east winds around 5. Saturday night, partly cloudy skies through the evening, becoming cloudy overnight in east 10 to 15 miles per hour, low near 40. Sunday, plenty of rain with a high near 45 and a low near 40. By Monday, high near 54, low near 36 with AM light showers. That's your active weather forecast sponsored by Active Pest Control. Active Pest Control offers the best services and prices to protect your home.
True Crime Thursday. We had a whole lot of people on in the come off. Come on, guys. Stay with us. We're having fun. Real news for real people at a real radio station. I'm not in my mom's basement. I'm not reading from the book of the conspiracy lies like the PA man was. And Warrior Defenders is inside 8 LaGrange Street as well. Get up, go. Whoa. We got Sally Toole on the way. Keep going up. I got my coffee.
With technical drills to build their survival skills.
I'm ready.
Be your own hero. Classes and private seminars are available. Learn today to have a safer tomorrow. WarriorDefenders.com.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a top expert in medical, health, and life insurance? Look no further than CP Financial. Meet Charmaine Preston, your trusted agent.
Gotta do the Roman Reigns thing. I'm the one.
With multiple companies, ensure the best option just for you. Don't miss out on the chance to make the right choice for your financial future. 706-525-5931.
Keep going up.
Charmaine Preston, CP Financial, your top local sale agent.
The Run for Angels at Chicken Coop, February 3rd. 5K, 10K Fun Run. Fun Run 8 a.m. 5K, 10K, 8:30 a.m. Chicken Coop Place, 9:30 a.m. to noon. Drive through or drive in. Noonan First United Methodist Church, 33 Greenville Street. Presented by the Kiwanis Club of Noonan.
All right, ladies and germs. We're waking up. I don't think I will either. Yeah, it's all right. You're saved by the bell. Come on out of that penalty box for safekeeping. You're live on 99.1 FM, WQEE The Key, our YouTube page, and everywhere we want to be. 50,000 plus of you are tuned in on the Shoutcast. I tell you what, Anna Marie from Noonan answered the question for me. She says, Carolina Panthers took on the New England Patriots that year that Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction happened, and she said the Patriots won, so congratulations to her. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out some kind of prize to give to you. I might go to one of the businesses and say, hey, we need to give her a prize. because I couldn't remember. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate everybody tuning in worldwide, wherever you are, on the YouTube, on our other feeds, listening to us on our stream sites. We're all over. We're everywhere you need to be. We're like MasterCard, except for we're not really charging that fee. But you can subscribe to the YouTube page and follow us every single day. WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, Atlanta. That's our page on YouTube. You can follow, subscribe, and there's a lot of other great shows that I put on there as well for you to go ahead and listen to. Also, if you want to support the show, it's easy as can be. Shoot us an email at 99classrock@gmail.com to find out more about advertising with the station, or 770-347-9947. Or you want to support me and the radio show as well, go to my Cash App at $RyanShelander. That's $Shelander, RyanShelander. You're listening to the RyanORadio Penitentiary. I'm Ryan O'Neal, and we appreciate you tuning in here. Keep going up on the YouTube page. Got a lot in store for you. 35 minutes past the hour. It's 32 degrees now in the metro Atlanta areas. Cool out there. Active pest control. As always, taking care of them pests, but bringing you a look at that active weather forecast and time and temperature this morning, 34 Jefferson Street in Noonan. Let's jump into some headline news. Continue to be with us. Do not move away. If you drop off, you're going to lose everything that's going on. Stay with us. And if you want to drop off and share, go ahead and share this with all your friends everywhere and let them become a part of RyanORadio Penitentiary. Once you're in the penitentiary, you're in lockdown. And all those people that left earlier, guess what? I got old Red, my head of my top guy, my head of all of my correction officers, coming after you. No, he's not a dog like in that song. I call him old Red because he can sniff you out. You gonna take care of it? Go get him and bring him back. There you go. Thank you very much. I am the warden of the RyanORadio Penitentiary, and old Red's going to take care of you. All right. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres called the UN Relief Agency for the Palestinians refugees the backbone of all humanity and a humanitarian response there in Gaza, as he appealed for the continuing funding for the program in a wake of allegations that a dozen of its employees were involved in Hamas's October attack on Israel. The need for the assistance in Gaza has been a constant throughout Israel's 4-month war against the Iran-backed Hamas terrorist group in Palestine. And what has reached the most detrimental time is gone through helping out those that are innocent, like the women and children and the men that are not a part of all this, as they're going through UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees. Antonio told the UN Committee on Exercise on Wednesday that he had spoken with the UNRWA donors a day prior to listening to their concerns and online steps that they could take to address them. He says, I underscored the importance of keeping UNRWA's virtual work going to meet the dire needs of the citizens of Gaza and to ensure its continued services to the Palestinian refugees that occupy West Bank, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. UNRW is the back appeal to all members of the state to guarantee their lifestyle. Yesterday, that about this accusation of 10 members of that organization being a part of the group that attacked Israel on October 7th during a music festival. I just want to get that out there, that people don't remember that it's a music festival. We told you before the break, ladies and gentlemen, that Carnival Cruise Lines are going to have about a dozen of their cruise ships reroute within 12 ships across 7 brands to reschedule times for people taking cruises, because especially away from the Red Sea at the moment, because of the Iran-backed terrorists militants have been attacking, repeatedly bombing commercial vessels, and some of those vessels, 2 of them were oil tankers from Britain. So that's something that was said ahead there. 3 Palestinian men were shot dead in Israel down a road on the West Banks near a hospital on Tuesday by special forces posing as Muslim men and women and staff, calling the killings at the hospital an assassination. The opposite side says the men were shot. They slept after the undercover IDF operators entered. Of course, they're having to do this right now. We are behind our friends at Israel. We are praying for the women, children, and men that are innocent in Palestine as well. That's what real Christians do. The whole violence on my side's right and your side's wrong political BS that we have in America is not true. Continue to stay with me. If you don't like it, I'm telling the truth. Like I said, you can't handle the truth if I'm telling it. And tell me when I'm telling lies. You can't. You can't. Well, I'm going to point out you're telling. No, you can't. You're never going to win an argument with me. Ask anybody in my family. I do this for a living. President Biden said he has decided his response to the drone attacks, ladies and gentlemen, that killed 3 U.S. troops that are Georgia troops. They came out of Georgia. God bless our Georgia troops here in Jordan. The president said yes, that he's going to do a response, but he didn't say what exactly he's going to do. So I don't want to mess with Biden right now. Oh, no. I know some of you don't like him, and we like to make fun of all the politicians here. But I don't know. I don't want to mess with somebody in charge. I don't want him pushing that button. What's going to happen? I told you the presidential primaries and caucus go into Nevada coming up next after South Carolina between Nikki Haley running against the former president as well. You know, I kind of like Nikki Haley. I kind of like what she stands for. I'm not political on either side. I'm down the middle, but I like to point out obvious things about any political candidate. And her husband being a military man, her being a former governor of South Carolina, her being the first official woman to really run. I know on the left there was Clinton a few years ago, but now we know that she and a lot of other people on that list, including somebody running currently, but we're not going to get into that because that might make somebody want to start to defend something that's not real. You know, you hear me, the life and crimes of Vince McMahon the last 3 days. I've come down on him and everybody around him, but you don't see me defending him. But anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. I think Nikki Haley is a great example of someone that could possibly do something. And like she said, you need somebody younger in there. We've got a couple of people that would be a rematch from 2016, and the age is just not there for me. And I'm not trying to be against ageism or whatever they call it. All of a sudden, ageism becomes something that somebody uses when they don't want everybody else to use anything. They don't want to call everything else cancel culture and everything, but you don't want me to do something that's ageism. Keep staying on here. You guys coming off. You can't handle the truth, can you? Because you don't want to hear the truth. People don't want to hear the truth. They want to keep it the way it is. Old-fashioned way. 1968 mindset. Spit my backy out. And that's just in Michigan. But anyway, continue to stay here because we're giving it like it is. We don't tell you what you want to hear. We tell the truth. Straight edge, independent skeptic right here. RyanORadio, Penitentiary. I'm on radio, so I get to tell it like it is. I'm not only in my mom's basement making up imaginary conspiracy lies to get you to believe that all the lizard people are coming to get you and one side's good and the other side's bad. Everybody does some good and bad out there. But like I said, I think she's right about being younger, and I think we need somebody younger. These elderly gentlemen, no disrespect to them. If you like either one of them, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because that's not what I'm doing. I like to pick on them, pick on everybody. But the thing about it is I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but they are at that age where they're going to start forgetting things, and we definitely don't want that. I don't care if one is worse than the other in some people's minds. I don't know whether they are or not. I'm not getting into that. I don't care about that. That's not my thing. But when it's constantly, I want this person to win because I want 5 cents off my eggs. Well, I don't care about that. I want to see somebody who can get in and do something for us and get the economy back. We need a younger person. Nikki Haley is probably the perfect example. She may not win it, but she's staying till the end. So you just never know. All We're going to take a short break, 15 minutes away from the top of the hour. You guys are tuned in to the only show that tells the truth, the RyanORadio Penitentiary. You're in lockdown. I don't like you telling me that. I like trolling football. I know you do. It's like you're spitting out corn, right? Anyway, stay tuned. We're going to talk about more on the Michigan shooter. Since this is True Crime Thursday, the Michigan shooter trial continues and juries hear about an affair. A what? Maybe this is why people are turning on each other during this time. An affair? Is that what made this kid go shoot up the school? Is that going to be the excuse that somebody has? We'll talk about that. Plus, later on this morning before we have Sally Toole on, a Pennsylvania man beheads his father, an engineer for the federal government, calls him a traitor, calls for violence against the current administration, and let's go up against it. And he's the savior of the world and all this kind of stuff. And he does a 14-minute rant on a video on YouTube. And towards the end of the video, he holds up the head of his dead father. How sick that is. Another QAnon nut out there believing QAnon BS. We're going to talk about that later on this morning. I'm sorry, guys. I call it like this. QAnon nuts are nuts. And this guy chopped his dad's head off and called him a traitor. We'll do that later on this morning. Stay with us. QAnon nuts coming off now. I don't want to hear Ryan. He's intelligent. I don't want nobody telling me the truth. I'm telling you, I'm going to keep calling you out when you go off. I know some of my listeners go off because they have things they have to do and everything. But the ones that come on and stay on and don't respond and everything, they get mad when somebody tells them the truth.
Packers hired former Boston College head coach Jeff Hafley as their next defensive coordinator. NBA Anthony Simon straight to go-ahead floater with just 17 seconds left in the fourth quarter as the Blazers beat the Bucks, spoiling Damian Lillard's return to Portland. Jimmy Butler dropped a 31 to help the Heat knock off the Kings to snap their 7-game slide. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving both watched from the sidelines due to injuries. Mavs were blown up by the Timberwolves. Minnesota guard Anthony Edwards fined 40 large by the league for criticizing the refs. Caitlin Clark dropped in a game-high 35 as the Hawkeyes crushed Northwestern. Clark is now second on the NCAA women's all-time scoring list. K-State stunned by Oklahoma, snapping the Wildcats' 14-game win streak. That's sports. Rata Moss, NBC News Radio.
Shopping for insurance doesn't have to be stressful. I'm Christy, owner of Ellsworth Insurance, located here in Newnan, Georgia. We're an independent agency with access to multiple carriers for home, auto, life, health, and commercial insurance. We're your one-stop shop for your insurance needs. www.insurewithellsworth.com 770-755-7353.
Keep coming on.
We look forward to meeting you soon.
This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help overcome barriers that prevent their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy. Please visit our website, www.familypatternsmatter.org.
Tune in Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 10:30 to listen to the Sustainable Brown Girl Radio Show, hosted by me, Ariel Green. Each week, we'll learn ways to be more sustainable in our everyday lives. We'll discuss exciting environmental news, ways to get involved locally, and we'll hear from women of color who are saving the planet in their own unique ways. Be sure to listen to the Sustainable Brown Girl Radio Show every Thursday at 10 a.m.
I am Apostle Deborah Harris, Minister Apostle of Kingdom Connected Ministries International.
Keep going. Stay with us, guys. Come on.
Circle, Newnan, Georgia. Presenting Connecting the Kingdom. Connecting kingdom citizens, kingdom businesses, and advancing the kingdom of God in this hour. Join us each Tuesday at 10 o'clock a.m. with guests who are
sharing their faith, business, and ministry.
All right, ladies and germs, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back in. I hope you got your good cup of coffee, your Red Bull, your Monster, or whatever you're drinking this morning. Maybe you're drinking your moonshine. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, whatever you're doing. Hey, that's not got anything to do with me as long as you're up with me. All right, keep coming on the YouTube there. We got Sweet Lisa says, good morning, everybody. Sue says, good morning to everybody from the Navajo Nation. Bob says, man, tell us about that crazy woman in Michigan. I'm about to do that, my friend. Alice in Canada says good morning, as well as Dave and Mike say good morning. Good morning to Helen and Vicky up there as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're everywhere you need to be. I hope Gail's going to come on soon. She comes on towards the end of the show. Used to come on earlier. Hope nothing's going on with one of our listeners, one of our dedicated listeners. All right, in a testimony on Wednesday, you remember we talked about this yesterday, plus the shooter, now both parents are being charged in the shooting, because their son went up and shot the school. And of course, this woman was like, hey, I don't want to lose my job. She worked for some kind of real estate agent. Hey, stay on with us. This is going to be a good one. This is a crazy woman. She's cheating on her husband. She a hoe. No, it ain't. God don't care if we do things, but only if the people on the streets do things. You don't know who God is, do you? You get out here and you praise be God. They don't vote the way I vote, so they can't be a Christian. Wrong. Am I pissing somebody off? Yes, I am. I don't care. I tell it like it is. You need to go out. You need to learn. All right. In a testimony on Wednesday, Jennifer Crumley blamed the school now. She blamed the school for not being ready about the danger of her. Now, it's your fault. Y'all should have been ready for my son to come and shoot up all those little you-know-whats. It's not my fault. Why do you want to charge me? I've already lost my job. And then I've lost my boyfriend and my husband. Oh my God. Oh my God. This woman did this. She blamed the school for her son, Ethan, posing committing mass murder at Oxford, Michigan High School in 2021. Her criticism of school officials revealed in a message that she shared with a man she was previously having an affair with and who testified on Wednesday on her behalf. Yeah, Jennifer was good. I mean, she's a good woman. Yeah, I know she cheated on her husband with me. But hey, she's right. It was the school's fault. They should have been prepared for her son to come shoot him up. Now, how the hell is she going to get out of this? Tell me that's retarded, okay? Yeah, I'm using that word. It's retarded. We've got so many people out here that think they can just do whatever the hell. This is called why people call privilege out, folks. You don't like it. You don't like to hear the word privilege, but this is what it is. This is some idiot that she thinks she's privileged enough. She's going to blame it on the school. It starts at home. You should have watched him. You should have beat his butt. You should have been cheating on your husband with another man. You should have been watching your son, woman. Okay? No, I don't feel like a woman no more. Who gives a rat's tail you don't feel like a woman no more? You and your husband been together so long. Who gives a rat's tail? Okay? Does anybody cheats on anybody, male or female or whatever? Who gives a rat's tail how you're feeling? You got kids. Go to a therapist. That's what therapists are for. Jesus Christ. I'm not going to feel sorry for anybody that says that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. Jennifer Crumley said that she didn't know her son was armed and blamed Oxford High School for officials for not checking his backpack. She should have checked it before he left. That's her responsibility as a parent, to know what your kids have in their backpacks and everything. You got your homework ready? Let me see if you got your homework ready. And then they open their book bags and let you see it. If they don't want to open your book bag, then they got something in there that they take to school that they don't want you to know. I don't care if they're 15 years old. You still have to keep up with them. It may irritate them. They may get pissed at mom and daddy for doing that, but you got to do it. I know a lot of parents that do that, and those are very good parents. Heroes, in my opinion, that work every day. Those are very good parents. And I know them personally. Anyway, her trial continued Wednesday before the Oakland County Court Judge Cheryl Matthews. Last year, Ethan was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for murdering 4 of his fellow students in a shooting and, of course, injuring 7 others. Oxford High School Dean of Students, Nicholas Eck, on Tuesday told the court that the school officials had no reason to suspect Ethan was a potential threat that required them to search his backpack. Now they're going to have to do that. Most schools are going to have to start doing that. Now our poor kids are going to have to go to school and be victimized and walk through metal detectors and everything. And the good kids out there to just trying to play football or be in the marching band or you know, be in a glee club or debate team or just trying to make it through high school because they're tired of, you know, they're ready to get out and get a job. You know, just going to have to go through a bunch of crap because parents like Jennifer can't be a parent to their child. You know, it starts at home, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. It was a 2-parent home. It wasn't like it was 1-parent home. It was a 2-parent home, and she was cheating on her husband. She was more interested in her side piece than she was keeping up with her son. No wonder her son went to school and shot people up. Well, anyway, the dean of students also testified that he met with Ethan and his parents in a school counselor's office the morning of the shooting to discuss a drawing made by Ethan on a math assignment sheet. The drawing showed a gun and a bloody bodies, and it says, "Blood everywhere. My life is useless." That's thoughts. The thoughts won't stop company. Well, that's when they should have got him some help, right? Instead of taking him home and scheduling an appointment with a counselor or going to a therapist, Ethan's parents returned to their jobs and said, it's okay, whatever. He's just a. So if your kids are doing this kind of stuff, see what's going on. The court on Wednesday heard testimony also from a man who admitted, his name was Brian, to having an affair with Jennifer and discussed Facebook messages they exchanged after the shooting. The messages indicated she was upset following the shooting and agonized over the school not being able to do something about the matter and not checking the backpack that day. She could face up to 15 years in prison on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter for giving her son access to a semi-automatic handgun that he used in the shooting. That's right, it's her fault. All right, guys. So tell me, try to make an excuse, because you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to have to debate me anyway. Try to make an excuse for this woman, her cheating on her husband, and her blaming the school. Try to make an excuse that it's the school's fault and not her fault. School should have checked. They didn't have any thoughts, like they said. I can understand that. But if they had met that morning before he shot somebody up that afternoon, he had the gun with him the whole time. That's what I want to know. Yeah, the school did let the parents know about the drawing. They had a meeting with the parents and showed it to them. Both the parents were sitting there with it, and they presented it to the parents. And the parents, instead of doing anything about it, taking him home or getting him any help, they went back to work. Mom had to go back to work because she had to go talk to her boyfriend. Yep. The school did show it to the parents. And then supposedly, I guess later on in the afternoon, he did the shooting. Parents is like, whatever, it's just kid being a kid. He ain't got no problems. We give him everything. All Jennifer wanted to do was get back there and say nasty little remarks on Facebook to her little boyfriend she was cheating on her husband with. Trash. I'm glad they're getting what they deserve. Some people are like, this is not right, Ryan. You're mean. No, I'm not mean. We've got to start punishing people for wrongdoings instead of saying it's all right to be mad. Like this guy we're going to talk about in a couple of next hour, this Pennsylvania man who's a QAnon nut, who went all QAnon crazy, who wants to go to war with the government and everything. Why in the world is this thing not? Going crazy and chopping his father's head off. I'm telling you, until Everybody's also, well, this day and time is more dangerous than ever before. No, it's not. We just got more social media. We just got quicker ways to get this stuff. It's always been this detrimental in our society. It's just we get to see it more because it's right there. Quick to come up on our social media sites. And, you know, this woman and all this, the quick. The problem is we got to start saying wrong is wrong. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think. I don't care how you think. Wrong is wrong. Threatening people's lives is wrong. Whether you like somebody or not is wrong. This woman wants to blame the school for her son shooting the school up. She and her husband had a responsibility to keep the guns locked up from a 15-year-old child, especially one that is this off and drawings like this. And the parents were presented this drawing, and the school said, hey, something needs to be done about it. Nah, forget about it. Let them go back to class. We got to go back to work. Good morning, Neal. What's up, Pete? Another Noonan dance. We're going to take a break. Back in a moment. What's up, Pete? What's up? Yeah, also people are influenced through social media. You got that right. You're exactly right about that. It's at work, a working man. Kind of sounds like a Leonard Skinner song. I don't know if you like Skinner, but I mean, because I got my Aiden shirt on. But Leonard Skinner. Everybody's got to love Leonard Skinner, right? There you go. Yeah. There you go. Great. I don't know nobody that don't like Leonard Skinner. And if I did, I think I'd be like, what's wrong with you? Everybody I know likes Leonard Skinner. Everybody. I lived out in Vegas. They liked Leonard Skinner. I was like, what? Yeah, it sounds like it's that song. I agree with you, Anna Marie. Yeah, people are influenced through social media. But like I said, this woman, this Jennifer woman, we talked about yesterday, she's trying to blame the school. She was talking with her boyfriend, cheating on her husband. That's all she wanted to do was get back to work. She wasn't worried about her son. She was cheating on her husband. She was more worried about getting back to work and talking on the Facebook and flirting with somebody. You've never listened to Leonard Skinner, Anna Marie, and you're living in the South? Sweet Home Alabama, Freebird. That's just their big songs. Saturday Night Special. Come on. The Needle and the Spoon. Whiskey. You're sorry. Oh my goodness. I lived in Vegas and there was a Vegas tribute band out there to Leonard Skinner. And they don't care for too much country music out there in Southern rock at all. So, and it was a top draw. Of course, there was only one Leonard Skinner tribute band out there, but they were good. Leonard Skinner, you will make a point to check him out. Oh my goodness. If it wasn't for Leonard Skinner, you wouldn't have half of the country rock artists you have today. Now, traditional country people be like, I don't like the new country. I like Merle old country. But they'll tell you, yeah, if it wasn't for Skinner, these guys today wouldn't be. I go mess with my traditional country guys. I don't want to and gals don't want to mess with you. You know what I mean? Let's see what kind of other news we're going to talk about this morning. Get some sports news, too. That's what I'm going to jump in. And true crime. Oh, is that about time for me to get ready to come on? All right, I'm excited. Here we go. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Send it out and get other people to subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe to the channel and everything to that sort so you can check out all of our wonderful radio shows on the network as well as my show live every morning. And if you want to support our show, $ on Cash App, $ RyanShelander. That's $ RyanShelander. Anything's great. Doesn't really matter. We'll appreciate it. And if you want to be a sponsor of the station or the show, come on. 770-347-9947. Yep. I dropped by yesterday after you told me. At first when you told me to go, I was like, I know where it's at, but do I know where it's at? And I was like, and then when I found out who you were, I was like, oh. I was hoping I wasn't being sent to the wrong part of town. I'm gonna get this boy. I don't like this boy. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna send him. I got 2 friends I want him to meet. I'm just picking Pete. I didn't think that. You got that right. It's second period. Full of play. Is that a word? I don't know. Coming up in the final period, Sally Toole of Histories and Mysteries will join us. We'll go around the state of Georgia with her, with our tour guide, our author, our Family Feud champion. Yeah, Sally joins us next hour. But this hour, we're going to talk about a Pennsylvania man who chopped his dad's head off. What? Who am I? I'm RyanORadio Penitentiary. I'm your host with the most, Ryan O'Neal, and of course, yes, I am the game. 50,000 plus of you know that all over the Shoutcast Shout Out Loud across our RyanORadio media page. Earth Rock Radio, New Mexico, Arizona, the Navajo Nation, Real Radio, and Internet Radio out there. About 10 radio stations I'm on out there on the Navajo Nation. Plus, across the British Columbia Isles of Canada and the Jordan Communication and Family Radio stations, East Alabama, West Georgia, including 99.1 FM, WQEE to Key, the home of inspirational talk and Southern sports. We're also the heartbeat of Atlanta, live in the heartbeat of Noonan downtown. We appreciate everybody tuning in worldwide with us and nationwide and countywide. And to my haters, well, I got one thing to say to you. Listen to this. Listen up. I am the man around here, whether they like it or not. Hope you got your good cup of coffee this morning. Maybe your Red Bull, your Monster, maybe that specialized cup of coffee from your favorite place, maybe like Leaf and Bean or something. Or maybe you got your moonshine. Whatever's waking you up this morning. Hey, if your boss don't care, you show up with a little moonshine and you share it with him. Hey, that's between you two. You know what? As long as you get the work done, right? Whatever. We're up together. Morning, noon, or night. Of course, people that are tuning into this are getting to check us out morning, noon, or night because we're worldwide and it's evening in Australia, night in Japan, early afternoon in Wales, South Wales, as well as England, and different time zones, early morning time zones in the United States and Mexico. We got people everywhere listening. We got Switzerland listening, as well as I'm sure she'll be back here. We've got people in Kiwi listening there as well. We got different countries listening everywhere. I mean, you name the country. If it's in Switzerland, it's Australia, if it's down under somewhere, there's people in the afternoon tuning in here right here. Gotta say good morning to Kiwi as well. Sarah there as well. She's known as Kiwi. Those Kiwis, if you know what I mean. They're tuned in as well. Oh man, got a lot of people. 10 minutes past the hour, 34 degrees. And your time and temperature brought to you by our friends at 34 Jefferson Street here in Noonan, Active Pest Control. Whether it's summer, winter, spring, fall, we don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Michael and the crew can exterminate and lay the smack down for you. All right, let's get back to it. It's True Crime Thursday, and this hour is going to be Maceley's True Crime. So let me get some of the headlines out of the way for you as we get into some true crime news I want to talk about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, some headlines this morning. Fannie Willis subpoenaed in an effort to disqualify her from the Georgia election case. Delaware judge strikes down Tesla's $56 billion package for Elon Musk. Kentucky state officials announced that a missing oh, no, that's true crime. We're getting that. Tom Brady will merge two companies together. TB12, the nutrition company, with his clothing line that's called No Bull. Yeah, No Bull will become was founded back in 2015, and the two longtime companies are going to be coming together with the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, bringing them together. He's scheduled to be inducted in the Patriots Hall of Fame June 12th in Massachusetts. He's eligible for the NFL Hall of Fame in 2028. Wow. Toronto Blue Jays have agreed to a one-year contract with veteran outfielder Justin Turner. The 39-year-old played last season with the Boston Red Sox. The Blue Jays are ready to go, and their pitchers and catchers will report February 15th in Florida. That's when everybody's reporting, February 15th. It's baseball right around the corner. Are you ready? Hope the Braves do something this year. We talked with our sports analyst the other day, Richard Holdridge, and he's ready. February the 15th is when they're going to be. That's 14 more days from the day when pitchers and catchers report. And then we get spring training coming up in, the end of March going into April? Yeah, or something like that. Wow. The Seattle Seahawks have hired Ravens defense coordinator Mike McDonald as the new head coach, replacing Pete Carroll. Also, the Baltimore Orioles chairman John Angelos has agreed to sell the American League's franchise for $1.752 billion. Georgia Tech ended up upsetting number 3 North Carolina in basketball last night. Action 74-73. Go Yellow Jackets, stinging North Carolina. And the NBA has fined Timberwolves, the one, the only, their big star, Anthony Edwards, $140K for his slide towards the referees and some of the things he did. Respect the referees. I know some of you don't want to. I know you think that the referees called it to bring the Taylor Swift show to the Super Bowl, but I'm not going to get into all the conspiracy theories and lies out there. I don't like doing that. And that's some of your headline news. And also, we told you last hour, ending the hour, in a testimony on Wednesday, Jennifer Crumley blamed the school officials for her dangerous son, Ethan, who committed mass murder at Oxford, Michigan High School back in 2021. Her criticism of the message that she shared with a man named Brian that she was having who supposedly showed up at the school to talk about Ethan's drawings on a math test that showed saying something about Ethan saying he's blood everywhere. I can't keep from thinking like this and all that stuff. And the parents just like, we got to go back to work, whatever. He's whatever. She tried to blame the school. So, wow. The complete story is on the WQEE page. I told it last hour. 15 minutes past the hour, 34 degrees under your mornings and the metro Atlanta area. Brought to you by Active Pest Control, 34 Jefferson Street here in Noonan. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, wow, people are dropping off like flies. I hope they're not getting thrown off. They might be getting thrown off, Ron. You know how this YouTube is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's February 1st, and it's the National Day of Prayer. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. I pray for everybody listening all over, viewing and listening all over the world. Some of them are not believers, but we still pray for them because they listen to the show anyway and support me, and I support them, and they're who they are. And I pray for the nation and the healing of our nation, especially after deaths and murders that are going on. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. National Day of Prayer Breakfast is going on. President Joe Biden will attend the National Day Prayer Breakfast at the Washington Hilton Hotel this morning in front of expected 3,000 people. Biden remarks that the breakfast were expected to begin at 8 a.m. this morning, Eastern Standard Time, but I don't think it began. I'm going to try to see if I can get some of that in on here before. That's what I was thinking. It was buffering you. I'm 100%. Don't know why it's not working. I don't know why it's buffering on you, brother. Maybe it's the internet. Maybe it's messing with us. I figured that's why some of you fell off, and that's why some people are falling off. I think that's why a lot of people are falling off. So I pick at them and everything, but that's why. Last year, Biden urged Americans to redeem the soul of the country by coming together to overcome the bitter political divisions, latest efforts in the COVID-19 pandemic and extreme weather incidents. And what's going to be talked about this year, I don't know. What's grown is the National Prayer Breakfast, which I just prayed over you guys and everything to keep you guys together and everything. Come to Washington in 1942, founded by the U.S. House and Senate after starting in other cities. So today is the National Day of Prayer Breakfast, guys. Wow. This is just a big news story. It happens every year. All the presidents come to this and give kind of a short speech, nothing on who they are, but on what's going on and what we need to be praying for. It's expected to start shortly, so I guess the current president's not awake yet. Picking for those that like him. I pick at every one of them, guys. I'm not against them or for them. I'm just picking. Anybody that knows me knows I pick on everybody. Just ask family members. Man, that boy pick on me every time. He gets me mad. I'll be sitting there telling him all this stuff I know, and he'll just get in there and he'll just be right the opposite of me. Because I was trained by my wife to be right the opposite. Every time I say something, she wanted to be opposite. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start doing what she does. I want her to agree with this is how I figured out how to get my wife to agree with me. Disagree with what I want to agree with. Oh man, I don't care about that. I don't care about wrestling anymore. Let's watch wrestling. I don't care about this. I don't care about. Well, I think we need to think about that. Yeah. You know that's how you do it, gentlemen. You know how you get. And Anna Marie, I know you're gonna probably use this on your husband too, since you're on here. But gentlemen that are watching and listening, how to get your wife to agree with you. Whatever you like, just say you don't like it. You don't care for it anymore. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. You don't? Well, I think you should. Okay, all right. No, I don't want to. I do not want to. Let's don't argue about this. You need to. Okay, I guess so. Believe me, it works. I've noticed that. That's how you get it. If there's something you want, gentlemen, just say you don't want it. Honey, I do not want that new motorcycle, or I don't want that new gun or the new 45 caliber, or I don't want that new for my gun guys out there, from my motorcycle guys out there. I don't want that new Harley. I don't want that. I want that. I don't want that at all. No. She's going, I think you need to get it. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't want it. I don't want it anymore. You sure? I think you need to go get it. Believe me, it works, guys. Be the opposite. Be the opposite. It works. What you want, be the opposite of it. For some reason, I've learned that disagreeing with people is going to get them to more talk about what you're disagreeing with. So I with my conservative side of the family, I'll be all the liberal points, and with my liberal side of the family, I go all conservative points. And I'm telling them right now by doing this show, they'll be going, my God, he did that to me. He doesn't really care either way. He just wants to make me argue, get mad. Mm-hmm. So I can laugh about it. All right, people try to do me like that. So I started using the opposite. But yeah, something you want, guys. I'm telling you right now, something that you want really, really bad. Just go to your wife, your girlfriend, significant other, whoever, and say, I decided I really don't want to get that. I'm like, what? Yeah, I really don't want it. And just do that over a few days. And then, actually, if you have the conversation for a couple of hours, you're going to end up calling and going, hey, John, guess what? Man, I'm getting it. How are you getting it? My wife won't let me get it. Well, I told her I didn't want it. And I'm on my way to get it right now. Ryan talked about this on the show this morning, and I decided to do it. Now I'm on my way to get that brand new 45 caliber. You lucky son of a gun. Who's this Ryan? He's on the radio. You got to listen to him. All right, I got to listen to it. I usually help my sisters out. I'm all about, I want a woman president. I'm all about my women, and we have our women-based programs here. But sometimes I have to help my brothers out a little bit out there. That's how you do it, gentlemen. Opposite. I really don't want that brand new. I decided, honey, I don't want that brand new Harley Davidson. I went and looked at them. I know you didn't want me to, but I went and looked at them, and I decided I didn't want them. My wife be like, what? Yeah. Well, maybe you should get it. I don't really want. No, I think you should go get it right now. Like, if I have to, I really don't want to. Get out and smiling all the way. Yeah, call your best friend, dude. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. What you going to get? That brand new Harley I told you I wanted. Your wife agreed. How did you get your wife to agree to it? I didn't. I told her I didn't want it. And she told me I had to go get it right now. And if I didn't go get it, I wasn't getting dinner tonight. Oh, I'm not dissing spouses. Come on. The chat disappeared while you were dissing spouses. Laugh out. I'm not dissing spouses. I am telling you how to work your magic on your spouse. Think every time you disagree with each other, it's because somebody's opinion. But if you start agreeing with their opinion, they start going with the opinion you want. This can work in politics too. I don't really like so-and-so. Well, I think he's a great guy, or I think she's a great guy, or great girl. Oh, I think this is wonderful. I'm going to vote since you don't want me to. It works, ladies and gentlemen, especially for the guys out there. Look, Anna Marie, you can take it and use it against your husband. I don't care. Whatever you want, just tell him, I don't want it anymore. He'll come home with it. Well, sometimes they want to see if you're going to argue. Then you come home going, I just had to, I guess I'll take it. That gun with chats disappeared. Yeah. Think about it. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. And this will work with anything, your family, your friends, anything. Maybe your boss, you just go to your boss. Look, man, you're right. You're right. I'm a bum, and I'll apologize for being the biggest bum in the world and not working overtime and giving up my life. No, that may not work with your boss. I don't know. Boss might go, you're going to go in and have a couple hours extra, boy. I got to go on to my wife. But it might work with everything else. I don't know what you could do to your boss. Amen, says Anna Marie. Amen. Just use it and use it on your kids. They go, Mom, I'm going out this weekend and I'm going to stay out till midnight. Oh, yeah, stay out all night long. Go and jump off the bridge. And then they'll be like, jump off the bridge? What do you mean? Yeah, just wreck your car into the water. I mean, yeah, you just have a good time and just have a good time and lose everything. And then when you don't have that car, man, you're gonna want that car. Don't worry about it. You can walk back. I'll be asleep. You just come in. I'll be asleep. I won't even help you out. If you go to jail, I won't help you out. They'll be like, wait a minute. Hey, Mom, I don't want to do that. That's just an extreme example. I don't know how you would use it on your kids, but in any situation, think about it. Agree with people. That's how you get people to disagree with you. Agree with what their initial thought is. And then they're going to agree with your initial thought. And you're going to go, I said that about 3 weeks ago. Now they're saying what I'm saying. And they're going to say, let's give it a benefit of the doubt. Why don't we give somebody the benefit of the doubt? And you're like, wait a minute. I said that 3 weeks ago. Now you want to give them the benefit of the doubt? Benefit of the doubt? I'm sorry, I do mess with family on both sides because I'm not a political guy. I vote for when I think who needs to be in there or whatever. I don't get into the whole mixed debate of the imaginary conspiracy theories on both sides. As an independent, I sit there and I think out the real process and what it really means. So I like to mess with people that are so hardcore. But if you're too hardcore about it, I think you need to go get some mental help. If you're a little hardcore about it, I'll mess with you. But if you're too hardcore about it, I think you need to go and contact Dr. Lewis Boynton and get some therapy. Especially if you want to attack everybody. Like this guy we're going to talk about after the break. We got to him before he beheaded his father. This happened in Pennsylvania, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about this after the break. This is our dumb crook, our conspiracy nut, our everything rolled in one coming up after the break. I'm going to talk it. No, we're not talking about Vince McMahon, the life and crimes. I'd love to again. But no further details to come out. But I have read, before we get into that, I'll talk about that. But after the break, we're going to talk about this Pennsylvania man, 32 years old, threatening to go to the government, going against the illegal immigrants, all this kind of stuff. Let's go to war. Man, this is where I told you the mainstream media and the news media on both sides and all that kind of stuff has influenced people. I'm going to tell it like it is. It's coming up in just a few moments. Tell me when I'm telling lies. But first, more additional information coming up. In the life and crimes of Vincent Kenny McMahon, the former WWE owner and board member of TKO, which was Endeavor, took over as ownership there. The further I read into this lawsuit and the things that happened, the more disgusting. It's like this guy is pure evil, okay? And we haven't made light of it. We've made fun of Vince McMahon, and we've not made fun of the victim, where some people were making fun of all of it and then coming to find out it was worse than they thought it was. But anybody defends Vince McMahon because they either like what he started or they want to be a billionaire like him or they've done things to people. Anytime that really somebody defends somebody so hardcore, that means they're that kind of person. And I'm sorry to say it, but it is. Or you lead me to believe you're that kind of person. But the thing is, it's even more disturbing, not just disgusting, but more disturbing details in this lawsuit. that Vince is cheap ass. Like I said, you can take the boy out of the trailer park, because you can't take the trailer park trash out of the boy, which is what Vince McMahon was. He was supposed to pay her $3 million, and he only gave her $1 million and stopped payment because he's a cheap, you know what. And then all this comes out. Now he's losing everything. Of course, he and his wife have been separated for years anyway. But I mean, he's a billionaire. I'm sure he's got the money to live the rest of his life, but no one's going to want him around. And I don't know how old this young lady is. Looking at this picture, she looks like she's between 20 and 30. Some people are saying she's 21. Some saying she's in her 30s. Some reports are saying she's older than that. I don't know how old this young lady was, but it doesn't matter what her age was. The abuse that she encountered from this man and his people were just totally, ugh. And of course, we told you yesterday that Kevin Dunn with the company walked away, stepped down. John Laurinaitis has already been fired. I expect more firings from the WWE side of things coming very, very soon, ladies and gentlemen. I expect it. I expect more firings coming after Vince McMahon leaving and everything. I do. I expect a lot more to come. And we hope that the more right people are being fired and everything, or they're releasing themselves from their so-called contracts. All right, ladies and germs. After the break on this True Crime Thursday, we're going to play Magnum PI. We're going to play Homicide Hunter. We're going to talk about this Pennsylvania man who decapitated his father and called him a traitor to this country. Like so many people out there calling people traitors, they're thinking that they are the heroes and that they can do this and that hangings are right and everything that, and this is right. You got people out there that mentally think this is right, and they're doing things like this. I want to tell anybody out there that says, I think it's all right for somebody to say to hang the president, I think you need to get that person some mental help, because that person is a person that has either done something in their past. They're kind of like the McMichaels over here in Brunswick. They've killed before. All right. Back in a moment, if they're willing for this kind of stuff to happen. Back in a moment, we'll talk about this crazy man after the break. This QAnon nut.
Control 34 Jefferson Street in Noonan. Sunshine to start the day off. A few afternoon clouds. High near 61. Winds light and variable. Overcast skies tonight. Low near 37. Light and variable winds. Partly cloudy going into your Friday with a high near 68. North-northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Heading into your Friday night into the weekend. Clear skies. Low winds are light and variable. Your Saturday afternoon, well, plenty of sunshine during the day. High near 63. East winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Heading into your Saturday night, partly cloudy skies. Through the evening, becoming cloudy overnight. Winds east 10 to 15 miles per hour. Low near 40. Sunday, it's going to be plenty of rain with a high near 45 and a low near 40. By Monday, high near 50.
There's no alleged allegations this man did it. He showed his father's head on YouTube. So there's no allegations, just to let everybody know. It's not alleged. It's not fake. It becomes fake when it's against something some people believe in, I guess.
Special includes one free veneer with every 5 purchased, or get that bright white smile you've always wanted by taking advantage of an exclusive $100 off whitening treatment when you book today. And don't forget that 2022 is almost over. That means most insurance policies will reset by the new year, and to avoid losing that extra money, you need to use it or lose it. Book an appointment today with Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton to lock in these exclusive deals. Call 706-623-0318 or visit mostvaluablesmiles.com.
Have you been considering a career in real estate? At Carnival
Licensed Realty Atlanta partners, we prepare you to excel in your real estate career by providing award-winning training, family-based culture, and lead generation tools to build a business that lasts. If you're interested in learning about our pre-licensed school or how to get started,
what's up, Gino? Thank you for being with us. All right, guys, I'm going to interrupt the buffing's in a minute because I got to make sure I'm plugged in. I don't know why my phone is not staying charged. So hold on a minute, guys. I'll be back. What's up, Gino in Las Vegas?
Expert in medical, health, and life insurance. Look no further than CP Financial. Meet Charmaine Preston, your trusted agent for finding the perfect plan to fit your budget. She works with multiple companies. You're the best option just for you. Don't miss out on the chance to make the right choice for your financial future. 706-525-5931. Speak to Charmaine Preston, CP Financial, your top local sales agent.
Hello, everyone. This is DJ Commando of a 45's Affair radio show where I play all vinyl 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Newton, Georgia.
All right, welcome back into RyanORadio Penitentiary. We're about 35 minutes past the hour. 35 degrees out there in the Atlanta, metro Atlanta area. Brought to you by Pest Control. Time and temperature there. All right, ladies and germs, this story that I'm about to talk about may be disturbing to some listeners as well as viewers and everything, but also it's disturbing to me that how many people watched the video before it was taken down. When you got people out here not spreading hate and gossip on these videos and, oh God, we're not going to watch that. But you got people that probably watched this agreeing with this idiot. And if we got that many people out there agreeing with this idiot, there's something wrong with them. And they can't get mad because gas prices are too high, because gas prices went lower. Because I don't like this and I don't like that. I want to kill this and I want to. No. This ain't 1887. This is 2024. We don't just go and kill people. It is pure evil, Pete. And this right here, God, it's disturbing to me because this guy killed his father over conspiracy theories. I like to call them conspiracy lies that I do not like to spread, that I'm 100% against, and people continue to spread these gossips, whether they're on the so-called fringe of the society, whether they are on the left side or the right side, whether they're continuing to spread lies. You know, to me, it's disgusting how some people do this stuff. And this guy fell for the lies. And there's so many people out there doing it. I told you a story a year ago about a man that killed his 10-month-old and his 2-year-old, took them to Mexico and said they had lizard reptile blood in them and he was trying to save the world. Disgusting. Because, oh, his wife got a little bit of reptile blood in her. Why? Because she disagreed with him politically. Well, some of these people believe if you disagree with them politically, that you are evil, when they're the ones that's plotting and scheming to kill somebody. I want people out here to start thinking, your politics should not shape who you are. You as a human should shape who you are. If you're a believer in God, that should shape who you are. A believer in God should shape who you are. If you have morals and different things, that should shape who you are, not some kind of politics. And this guy, I'm not even calling him a gentleman. This guy, a man accused, and I think his name was Justin Justin accused of decapitating his father, posting the video online with this severed head with political charged rants, was arrested an hour later with a gun at the National Guard base. The video that circulated for hours on YouTube gathered more than 5,000 views. Who the hell would want to see something like this? Before it was taken down, excuse my language, but I just can't see how anybody would want to watch a video with a head. When I heard about it, I didn't want to go find the video. I went and found the story. I don't want to see the video. I'm glad YouTube took it off. The 32 is being held without bond, charged with murder, abuse of a corpse, and other charges. During the online rant, Justin described his father as a federal worker and rally against the Biden administration, the border crisis, while declaring himself the new acting U.S. president under new martial law. The video, Faces of Death videos, people. Wow. I don't know. I couldn't do it. The video was removed over its graphic violence. Wow. So hey, YouTube won't take my videos down. Won't take any of your videos down. Keep going up, guys. Stay with us. I know some people are popping off because they don't want to hear the truth because it's going to offend their little psyche. But I'm not about caring about offending anybody's psyche on either side of the aisle. This guy was listening to some kind of online mindset that invaded his mind so heavily that he went crazy enough to kill his father and say all this stuff. This is called crazy, guys. This is called crazy. This is called a mental health issue. I'm not saying he needs to get off or anything because he doesn't. He needs to be fried, period. Because what he did was disgusting. And it takes a crazy person to kill people anyway. A normal person is not going to kill anybody. If they do, they come back like our soldiers do to America with PSD and barely being able to be a part of our society because they had to kill somebody. That's called a normal person. You and I could not do this. I don't know how people, like the people, you have to have a mental disorder to do something like this. The horrifying case comes at a national political environment and social media executives getting grilled Wednesday by Congress have been under fire for alleged graphic and some violent videos to be posted and remaining on their sites. The bigger picture is extremely concerning, I think, as we go into what was an incredibly heated political season. To me, that is a big deal, but it's not as big as this man and what he did. He murdered his father. And this is going to I'm not going to get too graphic, but I'm going to give you the background to it. Middletown Ship Police in Pennsylvania dispatched 7 p.m. on Tuesday with the report of a deceased male. The victim was named Michael F. Mon. And the call to emergency dispatchers came from the victim's wife. When officers arrived, they located the male deceased in a bathroom in a bathtub. The victim's adult son was not present when police arrived and left the area in his father's vehicle. A machete and a large kitchen knife, were both found in the tub. That's all I'm going to say about that. Officers are located the deceased male's head inside a plastic bag, which was inside a cooking pot in the first floor bedroom next to the bathroom. Oh my God. In a YouTube video rant, the man identified himself as Justin Mont and apparently reads from a written statement. At one point, holds up what appears to be that head itself inside a clear plastic. Okay, we back. I don't know what happened there for a minute. All right, we're back on YouTube Live again. Sorry about that. I don't know what had happened there for a minute. I was sitting there talking about all this division. Yeah. They didn't want to do that. Okay, anyway, back to this rotten guy. Sorry about that. I don't know what had happened. If you guys were on watching, I apologize to my viewers on YouTube this morning as well. I don't know what happened. Internet wants to mess up. I'm going to act up on you, Ryan. Anyway, in a YouTube video, the man identified as Justin Mont appeared to read from that we told you. America is rotting, he said, from the inside out, as far left woke mobs rampage our once prosperous cities. And he holds up his dad's head. Investigators also found clear rubber gloves and what appeared to be blood on them. After viewing the YouTube video, investigators confirmed the gloves, the head, and the room are in the same video that's in the house. YouTube, in a statement on Wednesday, said it has strict policies prohibiting graphic violence and violent extremists. The video was removed from violating our graphic violent policy, and Justin Mott's channel was terminated in line with our violent extreme policies. Our teams are closely tracking to remove any reloads of the video. Nobody reloaded this. Yeah, it was buffering. The internet was acting up. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm glad I didn't lose you. I thought I was going to have to redo the whole thing over. After fleeing the home, Justin drove more than 100 miles, then broke into a Pennsylvania National Guard base with a gun. A State Department of Military and Veterans Affairs spokesperson said Angela Watson. She also said he was taken into custody as well in the home of the Pennsylvania National Headquarters around 9:25 p.m. Tuesday. He was armed at the time but did not resist. I wish they'd have beat him down like they do in Mexico. They let you do everything illegal, and then when they get a chance, they beat you down on the way to jail. We don't allow that to happen in our country. Yeah, if we did that, then people wouldn't be doing violent stuff like this. Now, somebody try to defend this guy. Don't say his political views are right. I don't care about political views either side, but him saying all this, it's all right to have a rant against it and feel like everything's, I don't like it, this, that, and the other. But when he holds up the head of his dead father that he killed because of this conspiracy lies that people like, I hate to say Alex Jones spreads, and people like that spread. And it's the responsibility of us as the media not to spread these lies. Okay, I know it buffered and everything. I don't think YouTube did this, but maybe the devil was attacking because I'm trying to sit here and tell the truth. I believe the devil was attacking the YouTube page because of all the viewerships I had there. But I'm trying to explain this. The people that believe this way are not good people. People that believe extreme violence like this are not good people. People that believe this is the way to take back he called himself the president. He took over as the president. He's calling for he called for martial law. And of course none of this he could do, but 5,000 views before it was taken off of this man saying all this nut job stuff that people, and if you're a nut job that believes this way and you want to go violently to somebody, you might need to go get some mental help and be put on some medicine. I mean, and if the media don't want to start standing and stop pushing lies, and I'm calling all media out. I don't care. The left is not the enemy. The right is not the enemy. The people are not the enemy. The people that have different points of view are not the enemy. 20 years ago, people could sit down and disagree. Well, they could have arguments. I remember people having arguments politically on both sides, but they never violently wanted to kill one another. They never said you were a traitor. Well, they might have said you were a traitor, but they didn't go, you're a traitor, I'm going to kill you. Where was you want to ask, everybody's calling for the good old days. Where's the good old days of politics where people didn't try to kill one another? That's what I want to know. Where's the good old days of politics where people just cussed and fussed and argued and threw tantrums at Thanksgiving, ate the dinner, and then watched Alabama beat Auburn? I hate to say it because they did beat us a lot. Where did those days go? No. We got a man that's 32 years old. Also, later on, he was calling for everybody his age and younger to kill the older people off. This guy's been disturbed for a long time. Of course, he's got privilege. He's 32 years old, living at home. Everybody's 30, and he's got older siblings living at home. Okay? I want to know if the parents were just controlling him too. But violence like this, don't start freezing up. Now the computer's over here freezing up. The devil is not liking me preaching this morning. Get back, devil. Get back. Stomp you down on the ground, boy. Don't mess. If you mess up my recordings here, the good Lord is going to take you out. The devil was proud of what this guy did. This was Satan in this guy's head, for those who don't know. Talking about demons, I don't call everybody that does something in the media, shooting people, all these violent people. I just call people who do bad things, bad things. I'm probably, this is going to be the one time that I'm going to have to agree that there was some kind of demon in this guy. You know, and some people may agree and may not agree, but I don't say it every one of them. Every one of these stories we have with people, I didn't say that about the story about Michigan woman and her son killing. I didn't say about all the killings, but I am saying this one because there's something wrong with people who go this far to kill their own family members over politics. And then people going, well, people are mad. Who gives a damn if they're mad? That don't give you a right to hurt somebody. That don't give you a right to pick up arms against somebody. You're not taking your country back. Now, that's an imaginary conspiracy theory because you're not going to be Red Dawn. You'll be shot down in the streets. Just like this guy thought he was going to lead a revolution. Now he's sitting in a federal prison. And as soon as he's out among the prisoners, there'll be somebody that might want to play with him. And he won't stay long. I think he's a federal prison or is it a state prison? I don't know. Probably a state prison. But he'll be out amongst the people. And I hate to say this, there's a regular everyday people out there to do crimes. Do not think horrible things. They don't think this horrible. They don't think, sexual assault. They don't think all this, ladies and gentlemen. They might do what they do as being rebellious against our society and our police officers and all that kind of stuff. And they're the kind of people that may or may not come out and do right. I don't know. That's just what I call. But those people, they don't want to be up in there with somebody crazy like this. They hurt them. That's what happened to Jeffrey Dahmer. But my whole thing about this situation, we're going to get ready to get into some fun stuff with Sally Toole in just a few moments. But this guy, it's like I said, I don't care if you agree with him politically. You cannot sit here and say what he did was right. You got to sit here and say what he did was completely wrong. He was completely wrong. He murdered his father. He's a nut that murdered his father and went crazy because he was listening to a bunch of words matter. Okay? Words matter. Words matter. This is why when I try to put my words together and put this show together, I try to keep it the way it is because I know words matter. And I've got to present everything out there the way it is without you getting so angry about it. Well, my listeners don't, but I'm just saying if somebody new comes on without them getting angry and defending their point of view. This guy got so angry he defended his point of view, he chopped his dad's head off. That's bad. All right, we're going to take a short break. Coming up at the top of the hour, Sally Toole will join us from Histories and Mysteries. We're going to travel the state, see what histories and mysteries we can get into this morning on this True Crime Thursday. Back in a moment, you're tuned in to RyanORadio Penitentiary. Don't you dare move away from that radio dial. I'm with you. It's you with me. Gotta add that on there. Should be back and not buffering anymore. Wow. I gotta go rescue somebody who's like, I agreed with that man. That guy on the radio just made me mad. I agreed with him doing that.
Do a better deal for you with fees than any other company. We have a lot of different kind of programs.
The House of Light brings
10 Gen. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. I'll try to share that as soon as I can.
Services, classes, and wisdom, plus the tools to support you in our retail space.
What is good? 99.1 WQEE, The Key. We got the hottest new show coming to you live, The Jet Stream.
Oh, we're going to Alabama and Georgia. That's going to be cool.
Hello, everyone. This is DJ Commando of a 45's Affair radio show where I play all vinyl 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Noonan, Georgia.
Americans are more confident in the U.S. economy than they've been in the last 2 years. That's according to the latest Gallup Economic Confidence Index. The outlook is still overall negative, but has improved over the last 2 months and is at its highest point since January 2022. The U.S. Department of Education has announced even more delays in the federal student aid program known as FAFSA.
The free application for federal student aid normally opens up for students to apply by October 1st, but
10 Gen.
doesn't launch until December 30th.
All right.
Application redesign. That means
We're going to talk about that. Oh, the 10 Gen recounting right here in Noonan. That's what we're going to talk about this morning from my Noonan people. The rest of the world, you're going to get to hear some cool stuff.
First half of March, some schools have said they will push back their deadlines for FAFSA applications in order to help with timing. I'm Rosia Rivera.
A judge in Delaware is voiding the $56 billion pay package of Tesla CEO Elon Musk. RyanShelander reports.
Judge Kathleen McCormick found that the company's board of directors failed to prove that the compensation plan was fair. Shares of the company fell about 3% in after-hours trading following the ruling. The 2018 pay package granted to Musk was the largest compensation
Haley Lancaster.
in corporate history, Musk becoming the wealthiest person in the world. Musk responded on X to the news Tuesday afternoon, tweeting, "Never incorporate your company in the state of Delaware."
A former bookkeeper for the Biden family has told a House Oversight Committee that he never saw any evidence of wrongdoing by Joe Biden. The Republican-led committee is leading an impeachment inquiry into President Biden, and on Tuesday they brought Eric Shevrin, who acted as a financial advisor to Biden while he was vice president. Shevrin had access to Biden's bank records and told the committee
Fun Friday's coming up tomorrow, too.
not aware of any financial transactions or compensations that Biden received that were related to businesses conducted by any of his family members or their associates. Consumer and Business News, Aaron Royale, NBC News Radio.
WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin, LaGrange.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin in Idaho this morning, where at least 3 people were killed, 9 injured in a deadly construction collapse.
Idaho. Okay.
Boise, a building that belongs to a private business, came crashing down.
Wow.
Fire operations chief Aaron Hummel.
Unfortunately, there was a collapse of a building that was under construction. I understand it was a hangar that was under construction. We did have about a dozen people that were impacted as far as being in or around the collapse area.
Airport operations have not been affected. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News. City officials say 5 of the injured are in critical condition. The first of 2 powerful storms is drenching over California right now with heavy rain and high
WQEE Radio.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning. How you doing?
Pretty good. It's frosty over here.
Same here. Goes from rain to cold to rain to cold.
Oh, it's a little chilly. We have a Toyota Tundra.
Yeah.
And it's a frozen Tundra this morning.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's what Mark always, we get somebody goes, it's a frozen Tundra.
I like that.
You like that one, Mark? Ryan's giving you props to that one.
I love it.
Oh, laugh or cry, that's how it is over here.
That's what you got to do.
We choose to laugh.
Hey, that's what you got to do in this day and time.
Jeez, you only have two choices, really. Oh, boy.
All right. Oh, wow. That's not. Okay.
I got some research pulled up already. Found out one of the old mills in this area was on, featured on the Hunger Games, was used in the Hunger Games.
Really?
Yeah, Sweetwater Creek, the one for the beer company.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, it interested me so much, we're going to look into it because I think you can tour the brewery, and the mills are now a park.
Okay.
It's a state park. So Mark and I are looking into it. That may be a little side trip.
There will be, because if you get to, not only will you get to investigate, you get to stay at the park. Good morning, Cher. Yeah,
Right.
a little
Right,
bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's always a good thing to it. Yeah.
Yep. Sweetwater Brewing Company. Interesting stuff.
Well, they make them give you some free taste.
Yeah, I think they do samples. I think we had a friend that went there, so pretty sure it was a friend, she took her husband there for his birthday, because that was his favorite beer, and, that's a local Atlanta company for sure.
Well, it's like they say with the honey, local honey and local beer are better for you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And I don't even drink. But I know people who do. So I was like, yeah, you need to get the local stuff. It's better for you. Because I have a show on Saturdays here at the station called the Beer Guys Radio. Beer Guys Radio show out of Atlanta.
Huh.
Yeah,
Well, you know what Benjamin Franklin said about beer?
What'd he say?
He said, beer is God's way of showing that he loves us and wants us to be happy.
There you go.
I have a friend, an older gentleman. He kind of mentored me up in the ghost tour thing, and he does a one-man. He's the elderly. I don't want to say the word elderly. He'd be mad at me. But it's a one-man Benjamin Franklin show that's amazing. He used to take it to schools and historic, events, and he has a one-man Ebenezer Scrooge show and a one-man Benjamin Franklin show.
Well, that is awesome.
Yeah, really cool stuff. He took a tumble in December and he's been having a hard time. Once you get in your 70s, you take a fall and it really puts a monkey wrench into your general health for sure.
That is true.
It's those falls that get you.
That is true.
Get you. Yeah.
It'll get you for
He
sure.
actually just got home yesterday from a fall in December.
Wow.
So been a struggle. So, but yeah, he's a cool guy. Well, I tell you, he knew Benjamin Franklin in and out. He studied him. Kind of neat stuff. They used to do a lot more of that in the school system. I think they're starting to get it back after COVID, but, bring in these characters.
Mm-hmm.
When my kids were little, I did an Amelia Bedelia show. And I would go to the elementary schools pretending to be Amelia Bedelia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'd bring baby powder. You know Amelia Bedelia's story.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so I would bring baby powder to dust the curtains because she got everything backwards. Remember?
Yep.
Yeah, but that was the cute part about it. So my son told me one time, he goes, Mom, after you came to the school, he goes, I was like a rock star for about a week.
There you go.
It's funny, those things that kids remember from their childhood. So funny. And
it is.
One of the things that we're talking about today too is these kids today. This what we're talking about today is some history that I think should be taught in the school system more. I don't know if it is, but it should be, because kids today have access to a lot of things that children just 100 years ago did not. Quality of living, food, education. education, all that stuff. So that's kind of part of this. You know, some of these kids in the mills, they were 5 years old working in the mills.
Well, we need teachers
like a 5-year-old would be allowed to work in a factory, say.
Yep. We need teachers like those teachers that was on that show, Head of the Class, back in the 80s, like Charlie Moore and Billy. That's the kind of teachers you need for kids nowadays that bring history alive.
Bring it alive so they know, you know, this part of history.
Not just dates and numbers, but bringing it alive.
Take for granted the fact that they have public school education.
Yeah.
You know, they take for granted. They don't, you know, well, I don't want to go to school. Well, what if you didn't have the opportunity?
Yeah, a lot of people.
And what does that, you know, what does that lead to? That leads to a lot of other opportunities. You know, reading just opens up the world to anyone. And, you know, how many people just never were taught to read? And that's really not that long ago, which is kind of scary.
It is. It is.
It's sad. It really was. It wasn't like it was thousands of years ago. It was just like 100 and maybe 150 years ago. So.
Yeah, that's wow. It definitely is.
Interesting. Yeah, because you know, remember we talked about Mahaley.
Right.
She was one of her big advocacy was for all children to have access to education. But see, she was pretty smart. She knew that education was the key to having, you know, a decent job and the ability to take care of yourself.
Right.
And kids today, they just.
All right, we're getting ready to go on.
Anyway.
All right, we're getting ready to go on. Here we go.
History, I think.
We are still going, ladies and gentlemen. It's True Crime Thursday, and of course, the first Thursday of every month, we go on the road. That's right, we hit the road. We've got a little histories and mysteries for you coming up. So class is in session, so get ready for some histories and mysteries, and you guys need to get your notes ready. That's coming up right after this. But first, you're in lockdown. Tell them, Triple H. Yes, RyanORadio Penitentiary, your host with most, Ryan O'Neal, of course. Yes, I am the game. 50,000 plus of you worldwide on the Shoutcast. Shout it out loud. Across that RyanORadio media page. Earth, Rock Radio, Real Radio, about 10 radio stations out there, and internet radio on the Navajo Nation, Arizona, and of course, we're out there on New Mexico, the British Columbia Isles of Canada, and finally, right here at 99.1 FM, WQEE the Key, home of Southern Sports and Inspirational Talk. We're part of the Jordan Communication and Family Radio stations in East Alabama, West Georgia, including, we're on our Facebook page, we're on our YouTube page, we're on my personal page, we're on my RyanORadio Penitentiary, we're everywhere on Facebook and YouTube. And we've been getting a lot of listeners gain on that YouTube. And to my haters, I got this to say to you. Whether they like it or not, I am the man around here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, class is in session this morning. We like to do this a lot. Class is in session this morning. And our guest, she is a YouTuber, a blogger, a author, a traveler, a tour guide, a mother, a grandmother, a wife, a breakfast maker, and a Family Feud champion. Please welcome from Histories and Mysteries, Sally Toole. Good morning, Sally.
Good morning, Ryan. Morning. An actress, remember? I was in a play last year.
I forgot that. Yes. And an
actress.
Actress. You were a thespian. A thespian. Yes. A thespian now. There you go. We're using all these old words.
To put on, that's for sure. And hey, if anybody's out there listening to her in the Noonan area, if you've got any listeners who are in memory care or assisted living, they might recognize me now because last few months I have started a new venture, and that is storytelling at memory care facilities. So,
really?
Hey, anybody, you might be listening at one of those facilities this morning.
Cool. Well,
yeah, they're really enjoying it, and so am I.
Well, there you go. Well, they definitely. We probably got some people that listen through there as well, and everything.
They probably do. That just occurred to me, but I bet we do because they like to get up in the morning, have the radios on, and they keep up with the local news. These folks like to keep up with things in the world. So
exactly, they definitely do. So they probably are. So, and hello to them.
They probably are.
Well, Sally, you got a lot going on, and I know you're getting ready for breakfast in just a few and everything. So, but we're gonna get into some of the stories this morning, and a lot of our listeners are chatting up a storm on YouTube this morning. But we're gonna talk about some cool history this morning about mill towns in Georgia, Alabama, because of course Alabama's our sister state right over here, just a few miles from us, and everything. So let's get into some of the history of some of these mill towns and everything like that.
Right. Well, folks might know, the cotton was big in this part of the country. Of course, in the early days of the settlers first coming over in the late 1700s, of course, they were growing cotton along the coastline. But all this land that is now, I guess we consider central western Georgia, I guess that would be correct.
Right.
And the Alabama line. And when Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin, that was 1794, and that changed cotton, and you were able to start growing it more inland, and that is the beginning of the cotton industry in this part of the country, all the way back to 1800. So it's been around a while, and of course, that's when they had the need to transport Africans here in slavery, and that's a sad part of this history, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And also another sad part is that is what led to the removal of the native Creek and Cherokee Indians as well.
Right.
So cotton played a really pivotal role in industry in Georgia and Alabama, and also a change in the type of culture and the environment, the cultural environment of this area.
It definitely was. I mean, East Alabama, West Georgia, and one of the biggest mills, a lot of people, they call them the cotton mills, the elder states people will do, or the West Point Pepperell and the West Point Stevens corporations that were here in the East Alabama, West Georgia area a number of years ago, if you remember them. If you remember them.
Yeah, those, and then of course, where I'm in Manchester, there was a cotton mill.
Uh-huh.
There were cotton mills in the Pine Mountain area.
Yep.
Basically, anywhere you go in this part, you're gonna stumble on an old mill. And in a little while, I don't want to jump the gun because I want to jump about the stories of the mills.
Right.
When we wrap up the show, we will talk about what started to eliminate the need for these mills.
Right.
But the cotton mills were around before the Civil War.
Right.
In the South, there was a very prominent one, which is Sweetwater Creek. And I was mentioning to you just there, Sweetwater Creek, there might be some listeners who recognize that name if they like to participate in a little bit of beer sipping. Sweetwater Brewery Company. And Sweetwater Brewery does draw out of the Sweetwater Creek. They say it's the freshest, water, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But there's also, there was a mill there. And
Okay.
that mill was there before the Civil War, and it was actually one of the last places that was a holdout. The South defended that mill right up until Sherman arrived in Atlanta, and then they had to retreat, and it was Sherman's army that burned that mill down. But what's cool about the Sweetwater Creek Mill is the ruins are still there today. So this could be, a really cool day trip to go to the
Right.
park. And another fun fact is, if you're curious what it looks like, go watch one of the Hunger Game movies because they used it on the Hunger Game filming.
Wow.
So that's kind of a neat thing. We've talked about how many really awesome locations are here in Georgia for movie and television production, and for the Hunger Games, that Sweetwater Mill was one of them, and you can go tour that facility now. So that's kind of a neat thing.
It definitely is.
Standing histories in partial ruin.
Yeah, and
Very, very striking when these big structures are, sort of partially demolished, the wood part's gone, but the stone remains. It's really a cool thing to see. And I want to talk too about here locally. I know you're in Noonan. We're in the Noonan area.
Right.
And right around the corner from you would have been what was known as the Sergeant Arnco Mills.
Yes.
And those were local mills. So we had cotton gins and cotton mills before the Civil War. A lot of them shut down, obviously, during the Civil War, because many of the men who would have been working these mills were, volunteering for service to the Confederate side. And so we had several years where many of the mills were closed.
Right.
But then after the Civil War, the North realized that there was the South. One of the reasons for the Civil War, the North wanted to be had more of a financial interest in this booming cotton industry.
Right.
And so they came down and they rebuilt many of these mills. But before the Civil War, they were operated and run by men. But after the Civil War, the population of men in the South obviously dropped dramatically.
Of course.
Because they were killed in the war.
Yes.
But what did these men leave behind? They left behind their widows and their children. And the widows and the children of these Confederates who did not make it through the war, this was a way for them to survive, was to go to work at these mills.
Right.
And children, even at the age of 5,
yes.
I can't even imagine. I've got several grandchildren right in that
age range,
period. And I look at them thinking, spending the day working in a mill, that's horrible. But that was the reality from the Civil War well into the 1920s.
Yeah. Before we even...
These children and these women, and there's a picture that I came across online, and if anybody wants to check out the link to the YouTube video that I had sent you, we do a little fun series, and we pop videos in. I like to call them another roadside attraction. And it's basically, we spot some cool building
right.
or ruins, abandoned, and we go film there, and I try to find the history. And that's how I found the history of the Sergeant Arnco. That video that is posted on your Facebook page, if people want to check it out, there's a picture of a woman. And to me, it reminds me of the pictures during World War II of refugees. She's skinny,
right,
gaunt. She doesn't look well. So they were working really long hours in very poor conditions. And that, you're talking about a 40, 50-year period of time when that was the norm. It was normal for children not to go to school. It was normal for children to go to work. Now today, can you imagine withholding your child from education? Thank goodness. I'm not into a lot of government overseeing, but thank goodness the government oversees children being educated now. That's really
true.
important to the future of our country and the world, to have educated humans. And this wasn't the case just 100 years ago. So, it's pretty baffling to learn that history, and I think that school children should be aware of the blessing of having access to education. A lot of people suffered to earn that right for them to have this access to education.
That's so true. And I mean, a lot of kids that day and time. And if coming back and going to work in the mills is where women were starting to do the spinners and everything, which ended up being the main job later on for most of the women in these places as it progressed and progressed. Children sent in there. A lot of these children were used because they were small and they could get inside somewhere and clean something out that a grown man couldn't get in there or a grown woman couldn't get into.
Right, and how dangerous. And there probably were so many undocumented injuries. I would want to say likely deaths.
Many deaths.
In these. Of course, they wouldn't have been something documented. It wouldn't have been something that, was like, we think of broadcasting things like that on the news today. This would have been something very hush-hush.
Yeah, it would have been very.
really literally swept under the rug. And these, also these workers, they were pretty much forced into a situation like the coal miners, where they could only really purchase things that they needed through the company store.
Exactly.
So you've really got people, you've really got a hold on them. It's about as close to legal slavery when you really think of what is slavery. You have no ability to break loose. You have no ability to support yourself. You're really trapped. And it was like a financial slavery, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
They were trapped.
Yeah, and in many of these,
had to purchase food, anything they needed,
Yep.
purchased through the company store. And in fact, with the Sergeant Arnco facility, they paid a 50-cent tax per week, and that gave them the ability to see a physician, a doctor. And of course, it was a company doctor, and everyone saw him. But they were given housing, and that's the only, really positive thing. Sort of like the railroad crews.
Yep.
The railroads would build these small houses, and this
Mill
was the
houses?
same with the mill company in the Sergeant Arnco area. There were 75 homes built for workers, and of course, in those days, these communities of houses were completely segregated, and they would actually they did put up a ball field in the old Welcome to Arnco area, which I think is interesting. And they sort of encouraged the two communities, a little competition on the ball field. They would actually so the mills, of course, we mentioned the Sweetwater Creek. I hope people are realizing these mills were run on water.
Right.
And it had to be on a river or a creek. And if you had a swift-moving creek, this was what powered the mills. And also sometimes they would reservoir a lake for the water that they needed to run the facility. And then luckily that, again, a glimmer of something good, that would be used for recreation also in the community. So I can kind of see some of these kids, they get off work, maybe they grab their little cane pole and catch a few fish up and fry them for dinner. I'm picturing what the lifestyle of some of these young African-American and very poor white children, what must their daily life have been like? Just work and, providing for the family. And there was no time for education. There was absolutely no time for games. And today you think of how much time does your average child spend on gaming?
Yeah. Well, you got
that's a luxury. That's a luxury that they don't realize that just 100 years ago, these other children sacrificed, sometimes their lives, definitely sacrificing their childhood, so that these kids today have all of this luxury time.
Yeah, I mean,
access to all of these things. So, it's an important part of history that, yes, you do need to face this part of history so that you have some appreciation, I believe, for all of the good things that are allowed us today.
There is, but there's also a negative thing about this, because these kids were not allowed to be children. They were made to work. Everyone was made to work. They were giving everything from homes and doctors and all this kind of stuff. All this stuff was provided for them. They had to buy from the company store. Everything was to make sure that these people came to work every single day. And you got people then that you got people whose mindset were that was the greatest thing ever because they had everything.
Right. That is a part of it, and that is a perspective. That's another perspective of it.
Yeah.
In those days, it was either work at the mill or starve.
Exactly.
You had no place to live because, of course, after the Civil War too, you couldn't really keep up a family farm because, again, the population of the men from 1860, it takes humans time to recycle a population, obviously. And so if you've lost a big chunk of your population, it's going to take 40 to 50 years, 20 to 30 at least, to rebuild a population of young men.
Exactly.
And there weren't the men to work the mills or the farms. And so, if you say you're a widowed from the Confederate War, from the Civil War, and you're a widow looking at this farm and small children and no husband and looked like a beautiful thing. It really, I mean, it was. It just, thank goodness that, finally labor unions came in, and that was a struggle. That was a fight to get the labor unions to, to come in and say, hey, things should be a little bit more fair.
Right. Fair pay, fair everything. Yeah.
And those early workers who lobbied for these labor unions, some of them were arrested. I know just with the Arco mill, some of them were the ones who were picketing and striking to try to get better environment conditions. They were taken into custody and kept in an area where they were left outside with no shelter. Could you imagine today a bunch of guys from Home Depot strike because of an issue?
Right.
They're locked up and put out in a field to starve in a. Could you imagine?
I couldn't imagine that. It's yeah.
Of course, back then, these rich, mill owners, they were very much in the pocket of the politicians.
Very much. Unlike today.
Yeah, oh no, that never happens anymore. So we talked about the sad part of the mills. One of the interesting parts of the mills that's a little bit more cheerful is the fact that, of course, these villages did pop up, and they were given these homes.
Right.
That's where we get the term salt box house, shotgun house, and they had these. So these were very, very simple little homes. But what's neat in Georgia is a lot of them are still standing. My son lives in one of these little houses.
Right, they are.
Added on to several times over the years. But these simple little houses in these simple little communities, and a lot of these little homes still stand.
They do.
And that's kind of a neat thing about it. Now, these mills, they were producing yarns and fabrics, and the one in Arco actually produced rope. And they were producing ropes there. So you think of all the things, cotton, the fabric of our lives.
Right.
It is true.
It is true.
And then later, it got into more of synthetics. They were producing synthetics. And my husband's mother, Big Mark's mom, she worked at the Avondale mill.
Wow.
And he remembers her bringing home some of the wooden spindles that weren't usable anymore. And those are probably in antique stores selling for $20-$30 now.
Wow.
Those little spindles. You remember those? My mom used to have like a chute thing that they used to use in the mills. And all of these things, of course, are just vintage items today. But, these mills, they had their good and they had their bad. It was. We've talked about this before too. When you put yourself in that time frame,
right,
situation you're in, you kind of have to look at it from an economic way. But it was poor conditions, and thank goodness, that those improved for people. But it did give you a house. You had a house, you had food, and like I said, you did have access to some modest medical care. And that's a part of this too. Now, some of the manufacturing companies, Arco in particular, the one I talked about the most, they got turned into the Arnal textile industry, and they still produce yarn that folks, make their crochet their items and make their blankets. And the railroad was an important part too.
Deliveries.
How do you move these products
from
place to place back then? It was the railroad. And so if you find a mill, you're likely going to find a train track and a depot. All of those things, built these communities with these manufacturing companies with the cotton. And of course, cotton, it kind of, what happened really to make the mills extinct and sort of go out of business, and they struggled for years, but it was because we started, importing foreign fabrics and textiles.
Right.
And that was the end of most of the mills in this country, because it was cheaper to ship it in from China and other places, and synthetic fabrics. You kind of remember those old the suits from the 60s that were like the leisure suits.
I remember. I wasn't there, but I remember.
natural products. We've learned that sometimes synthetics, of course, can lead to, carcinogenics. And
Right.
just get back to the natural. Sometimes it's better to just get back to the natural stuff, for sure.
It definitely is. Well, we're going to talk some more with Sally Toole from Histories and Mysteries when we come back from the break. We're going to take this short break. Stay with us. We'll get more. We'll get more that's going on, what's coming up next, and more into some videos and stuff, and how you can follow Histories and Mysteries. We've got more details of that after this break. So stay here. It's about 33 minutes past the hour. It's about 36 degrees right now in the metro Atlanta area of Noonan. And we're all in. That's your time and temperature, brought to you by Active Pest Control. Stay with us on the way. We'll get back in the second half of the Histories and Mysteries. You guys do not move away. All righty, we're at break.
Cool.
All right. Well, when we get back, we'll talk about if there's anything attached to these mills, like any entities that might still be there. And then we'll find out what's going on with, with your video. You talk about your video and all the other stuff, and what's coming up next. Yeah.
Sports fans, it's Ron Peterson here, host of the Ron Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show. Every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern, you'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Ron Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM. Hello, everyone. This is DJ Commando number 45 Severe Radio Show, where I play all vital 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM.
Welcome back into the RyanORadio Penitentiary. Tomorrow on the show is the Fun Friday TGIF edition of the show. We'll get you ready for the weekend straight ahead. So we got a big weekend, the weekend before the weekend of the Super Bowl. And we'll be talking more about that next week with some of our great guests. Monday, joining us will be Coach Tommy Lewis from the Landmark Christian War Eagles. We'll talk some football action, what's going on at Landmark. And on Tuesday, our sports analyst, Richard Holdress from the Sports Beat, joins us. We will talk Super Bowl week, and our friend Shane B does movie reviews coming up on Tuesday. Great guest next Wednesday and Thursday morning as well. True Crime Thursday next week from today will be our guest, the one, the only, Elizabeth Sarles joins us. The author of The Birthday Bash, a book about her brother's unsolved homicide, and we'll talk about another unsolved homicide and Small Town USA. But today, Histories and Mysteries with our guest, Sally Toole. She is everything from an actress to Family Feud star to YouTuber, blogger, mother, grandmother, breakfast cooker, and more. And we did the history portion of it before the break. Now I want to get into the mystery portion. We've talked about all these mill houses and mill homes and mills, and we talked about everything from here in Noonan all the way to all the ones across East Alabama, West Georgia. Now that some of them are shut down, of course, we talked about how the industry shut down years ago. Is there any interest into anything being attached to these mills? Because we know, even though they were not reported, there was probably a number of deaths in a majority of these mills over the years.
Right. I did do some history on that very thing, and there were actually in England. And it makes you want to do it here now that you find out about this. But in England, they would find what they called we talked about pauper graves. That's
right.
Where someone doesn't have the money or the family to bury them in a proper grave, and there's pauper graves.
Right.
These paupers, some of them outside these mills were these children, and they're actually digging up and finding some of these children associated to these cotton mills in England. So it makes me kind of curious, if this was something that was done in the United States as well, where these kids were just such terrible conditions, and they did pass away, and it really makes you want to get out there. And not only if they died there, but sometimes, a spirit lingers, an energy lingers of a place where you suffered. Even if you didn't pass away there, some of your spirit, if you suffer a terrible incident or loss, you've expelled some energy on that. And so some of that energy could just linger just because the conditions were so terrible.
Right.
But I would guarantee, and it is something I'd like to look deeper into, the kids who probably got stuck in some of this machinery or injured. And apparently these graves that they're finding in England, researchers finding these children were riddled with diseases.
I believe it.
Injuries.
Yep.
And they know that because they're looking at their skeletal remains.
I believe it.
You find someone's skeletal remains, and things like a bullet wound, those are obvious. But
right.
They can find these children with obvious birth defects, bones that were broken.
Right.
Limbs missing. Remnants of some sort of disease, a polio or something that would have changed their skeletal structure. And so these kids, if you're a big factory owner and a kid dies, you really don't want that out in the general knowledge of the world.
In the newspaper, no, you don't.
So let's just maybe get a little grave site over here and put everyone who passes just right here.
Right.
And of course, if their parents were literally dirt poor,
exactly.
What other choice did they have?
And they had to keep working. I mean, the parents were having to keep working. I mean, it took a few minutes to bury their child, and okay, get back to work because
get back to work.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Back to work. And so these ruins, if you just walk through these stone ruins, and it's almost like you could hear the voices of these these kids. They were probably hungry. They were probably sickly. Just horrifying. And thank goodness the children don't have to suffer through that anymore. But I am sure that there must be spirit energy of kids who the suffering, just the suffering alone, and the work noises.
Yes.
It'd be kind of cool to go in one at night. And I assume these factories ran 24/7.
They did. Most of them did, yeah.
They certainly don't want to shut down this machinery.
No.
They keep these things going, and so those noises of grinding or whatever the noises would be, there's spirits probably linger still there, but it'd be kind of cool to go out to one of these rooms and see if you could pick up the noises.
Yeah.
You get the recorder and see if you can still hear some of the machinery working and grinding. And could you imagine hearing that day in and day out, pretty much your entire existence, listening to the noises of a factory?
Yeah.
Really ingrained in your spirit.
No, there's a lot of people.
I guarantee there are people that spirits still lingering. It was such a big part of their life. And if you've expelled that kind of energy, just existing somewhere, then certainly it's going to linger in that environment where you expelled so much energy.
I believe
so it would
too.
be really cool to get out and check out some of these mills, and some of them are open to the public. So if anybody wants to get their meters out and walk around some of these old mills, like they say, if the walls could talk.
Yeah, if the walls could talk. I mean, there's mills.
If the walls could talk, what would they say? And the Arnco mill, I don't know if this is really public knowledge or not, but I kind of heard that someone's purchased that possibly to build apartments. Now, I know there was another factory in Noonan, I believe, where they did turn it into sort of an industrial style apartment.
Right.
And it does make you wonder, you move into an apartment and, you're thinking, oh, this is a new building. But what was here before?
Right.
And that's in some of the spirit stirring that we've done, and some of the stories in that book my Stirring Spirits book.
Right.
People say, I moved into a new house, but gosh, it feels like it's haunted. How could that be? It's brand new. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the house. It might just be that
the grounds
area of the earth, the dirt, or even just like I use the word ether. Just the air, the space that you're in. What was here before? What happened there before? And so you move into an apartment that was an old mill, or maybe they turned them into breweries. They're so popular these days. Everybody loves a brewery, and they love to use these old buildings for these breweries, and they are super cool. But it just makes you wonder, who's still there?
Exactly.
Who's still there? And you get in these places, and the beer bottles drop, or things start turning off and on when you didn't turn it off and on. We are solidly believing our little house is haunted. Ours is an old railroad gang house.
Okay.
And now the railroad wasn't known to mistreat their workers as severely as the mills. I will say
exactly.
That. However, this house is almost 100 years old, so lots of different people have lived here. And we're actually having an event recently where we'll be watching TV, and suddenly the show pauses, and the remote is like 10 feet away from us.
Well, somebody was done with that show.
Leaned over and accidentally bumped the button. The
Right.
cat didn't walk across the remote. It just suddenly pauses. And I'm like,
done with it.
Okay.
Well, somebody didn't want to watch that. They were done watching that show.
Somebody doesn't like that show.
I don't want to watch this. I want to watch something else.
Then you pause that show. You're making too much of a racket or something.
You're too loud.
But you do know there's got to be spirits lingering in these areas, and you can take a mill. I mean, you could plow this thing down. You could burn them down to nothing. But that doesn't mean you've eliminated any energy of a human that existed there, that worked there, that died there. I believe even a severe injury could leave spirit energy, because if you're severely injured. So remember we talked about the one theater in the Ritz.
Right.
The gentleman, the projectionist, was burned, but he didn't die on the property.
Right.
He died as a result of the fire.
Right.
And the injury occurred in the theater, and they still think that his spirit lingers there. And he drops popcorn here and there. So, you move into one of these mill areas, which is popular now, because if you have a mill that's no longer being used, that's prime real estate, especially in the Noonan, Georgia area.
Yes, it is.
Very prime real estate.
Yes, it is here.
Any little scrap of dirt in Noonan is very valuable right now. And I guess, what was the old term, urban sprawl, they used to say?
Yes.
And when the population grows, they need some place to live. And in Noonan, you and I both know, we drive around the town, and there's apartment complexes popping up. There are subdivisions popping up.
They are.
Because when people come to a town to work and to live, then they need, 4 walls and a bath to live.
Exactly.
And that's just satisfying a human need. And these mills, if it's several acres of ruins, somebody might look at that and say, well, let's, do this or that with
Knock it down.
And again, you could be, there's places I'm sure that are building on some of these pauper graves, and who would know if they're completely unmarked or undocumented?
Oh yeah, I'm sure
You
there's
literally build your home on a piece of property that there are skeletal remains below you, and who knows? You might never know.
Well, it's always expansion, and you're right. You never know what happened in 1800s or 1920s. There's a lot of people who've been buried their families on their family farms, and some of these family farms have been sold over the years to become property. I do know that I had a family farm with my mother had a family farm in Barnesville, Georgia, and part of that family farm is the mall in Barnesville, Georgia. That whole big mall and everything this in Barnesville now, Georgia. A lot of land. Part of that land was family of mine's farmland, which probably was further out that they didn't really use all that much. But you could drive down to see where you turn off in the road to where there used to be an old house where my family lived. So my grandfather had a large family farm there in Barnesville, Georgia, and part of that land was sold to become mill land. And I would love to know, because I know that them growing up, they hunted on that land. There was a lot of wild animals, pigs, and even more out there that they hunted. So I'd love to know some more history of it. And I understand the family making money on it. Hey, go for it. I'm all for that. But I want to know some history.
Right, very interesting stuff. And you're right. Anywhere you go, if you develop a farm or any type of property, you know that there are folks buried there somewhere unmarked. I mean, right down to the natives, especially if it's along a creek line,
right?
Or because where did the term Creek Indians come from? They lived by the creeks.
Exactly.
That was their sources of water. So anywhere, any property along any of these creeks or rivers, 100%, there is something below your property that's probably been buried for so long you would never find it. But
true.
Sometimes people excavate and they still do come across things. That would happen in St. Augustine, and it was a law that if you dug up a piece of property to put in a new construction or to repair something, if you came across even a belt buckle, you had to stop and notify the city, and then they would do an archaeological dig.
They just recently did that.
It would be interesting. In Sonoy, as a matter of fact, part of that ghost tour, and there's one of my videos on my YouTube channel, Histories and Mysteries. We went to that cemetery, and just past the official cemetery, they developed the land and put houses in, and I know for a fact that they put these houses on top of what were these potter's fields or pauper's graves. I know for a fact. But of course, the developer's not going to tell you that.
No, for sure not.
I'm not going to divulge that information. And if these folks were buried, completely unmarked, that they didn't use vaults in those days, so their whatever remains there were, they've just become part of the earth, of course.
It definitely
but
is.
Their spirit would likely linger.
Well, there you go. Well, another great discussion this morning, and more histories and mysteries from Sally Toole. Sally, tell us how we can follow you, subscribe, what's coming up next for you guys, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. So next coming up, we're trying to get some more YouTube videos up. We've been a little slack, I admit it. But if you, you can just search on YouTube Sally Toole, Histories and Mysteries. There are a lot of really good quality videos up, including the one that Ryan has shared about the mills and some others. And we're getting some new ones up. And I just got a big shipment of new books called Stirring Spirits. So if anybody wants to send me a message on Facebook or on the YouTube channel, I can ship you out a book, autographed, ASAP. And I believe I might be selling them in March in the Noonan Square in the Art Walk. So that'll be fun.
Yes.
And so we're going to be getting out to some events and start doing some book signing. The spring is coming, Ryan. I promise.
I know. I mean, we keep feeling it, but
it's coming. So we're ready to get back out there where people are, walking around market days and events and things. And so we'll be out selling the books, and we've definitely got some cool videos coming. And one that I'm working on that folks might be interested in is a response to a question I get all the time, and that is, how do you self-publish a book? So I have been published by publishers with Arcadia Press and History Press. So I have been officially published many times over the years in magazines and so forth. But doing it yourself is a whole nother ball game. So I'm going to put together a YouTube video because people always ask me, I've got a family story, I've got a good story in mind. How can I put together a book by myself? And so we're going to do a YouTube video to give people a few tips and tricks, so to speak, a little bit of a how-to, how to pull that off. And it is a time-consuming, very work-heavy thing, but it's very satisfying in the end when you put out a nice quality story for people. And again, shout out to my Storytime friends at the nursing facilities, and been really enjoying that. And if anybody would enjoy having a storyteller come to an event, reach out for me about that. I do that as well. Ghost stories, history, pretty much whatever you'd like. We could tell a story about it for sure.
For sure. Well, it's been an honor and a privilege having you once again, Sally. We'll have you again next month, unless we have another opening this month, then I'll get back with you on that. But until then, we're gonna let Sally out on good behavior so she can go and get breakfast made.
Oh, thank you. I was worried about that.
Well,
I worry every week. Am I going to get let out on good behavior?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you out on good behavior. Don't worry, Mark don't have to sign the house away. He don't have to sign the house away to get you out or anything like that.
So. That's right. Like I said, we do have a stack of fresh books hot off the presses here. So if anybody's listening and would like a good book to read, give me a shout out or send Ryan a message if you can't find me. You can find him and he'll get in touch with me for sure. For
sure. Back in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We're closing out after this. All right. Great as always.
I appreciate the time, and if you ever do have another to discuss the whole getting published thing, that would be a thing. I do get that question a lot.
Okay.
A lot. Now, of course, I have a journalism degree, so I have a little leg up on the thing. But other people can publish family cookbooks, family histories.
Well, you guys have got to come by the station sometime in the near future so we can.
Yeah, and listen, Ryan, we're actually contemplating making a move to Noonan.
Okay.
We're really tired of this hour drive. It's
I'm
really
sure.
down.
I mean, Manchester's beautiful, but
to the grandkids, we want to be able to be more helpful.
Yep.
So, and I love the Noonan Square, and we just want to be closer. We just want to get closer, and it's important for Mark's Health to maybe get us closer to Piedmont Noonan.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It sounds
That's
good.
a good hospital there.
It is a very good hospital. Well, for sure, I'll get with you if we have any more openings this month. If you want to come back on, I'll let you know. And
just send me an email, and we'll talk about that art walk. They're apparently supposed to be sending out something to every business on the square.
Right.
If you want to participate, so if you guys want to do it, I don't think it's a fee. I think it's just the opportunity to do it, and maybe there's a couple of us that you talk to all the time and have something that we could sit out there and.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm definitely if they let us we definitely want to participate. That'd be great. We'd definitely be happy to.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. Yeah. One of the cemeteries we've never walked through is the Noonan one, and we keep saying we have to, so that's something we've got to do.
Yeah. Well, I've been through the Noonan one. It's definitely cool. Yeah,
for sure. I think this year I'm going to do that ghost tour they do there, take that walk and see what all that's about. I haven't done that either.
Sounds good. Well, we'll talk to you soon, and you have a great day.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate the time.
All right, no problem. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you once again to Sally Toole. Yes, another awesome interview with her, as always. Well, you have a great rest of your day too, Cher. Don't eat too much chocolate or whatever. I don't even know if you eat chocolate. I'm just saying. Always trying to give some kind of thing. Check it out on the WQEE page. You guys will be back tomorrow for the fun Friday edition. We're going to have a good time. We're going to get ready for sports this weekend. No football this weekend, though. But still, we'll get ready for whatever games is coming on this weekend. NHL All-Star game going on the last couple of nights. This weekend's kind of a slow weekend for sports. And we'll get you ready for all that. Have fun tomorrow. Some great stories. Hopefully nothing terrible comes up like the Pennsylvania man that cut his dad's head off that we talked about last hour. Oh, my goodness. Because he was like, we've got to fight the woke left, and this is how you do it. Chop their heads off. Physically chopped his dad's head off, who was paying for every bill in the house, the 32-year-old man, living off of somebody working for the government as an engineer. Wow. Ugh. Well, guys, you stay tuned. Coming up, Sustainable Brown Girls next. We'll follow that up with Heart to Heart Radio with Margie Conway and the best sports lineup in the business, 12 to 5. 12 to 2, Rob Peterson Show. 2 to 3, the Sports Beat, Richard Holdridge. 3 to 5, Braves Country Radio with Matt McGee and them armchair quarterbacks. And with that being said and done, you guys have a great day. I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Tell all your friends and family about the show. Continue to subscribe if you can, please, to our WQEE. Subscribe to the page. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. People used to ask, I thought it cost something to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe to any of the YouTube pages. If you want to support the show, all you got to do, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support me, go to my Cash App. You know how to use Cash App? $RyanShelander. $RyanShelander. You can find me. Capital RYAN, capital SHELANDER. Ryan Shelander, if you want to support something, just throw a little something out there for me, be fantastic. Help out. 5, 10, 15, 20, $100. Get your seed out. If you give me that seed, no, I'm just kidding. Everybody that supports my show does do something well. Get with Hometown Novels. I know, what's his name with Hometown Novels? They used to have a radio show here. We got to get them back on too. But until we meet again, you hear the bell ringing. For whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. Until we meet again, you guys have a great day. Peace, love, respect. I am out of here. I definitely will get with them. All right, let me make sure. I'm going to cut you guys off, but I got to make sure this one's cut off first. You guys won't be doing any recording. All right, there we go. All right. Cool. Pete, I appreciate it. And everybody, we've had a lot of people on and off all this morning. I appreciate everybody worldwide and Noonan-wide. You guys want to be a part of what's going on, let us know. 770-347-9947. Have a great day. One day I'm going to give a tour of the radio station. Actually, not on here. Maybe on here for some of the people who don't live close enough. But if you live close enough, come by. Visit me. 5.5 West Washington Street. Have a great day.